property now of WATP. You cannot take that with you.
Can I finish my beer?
Yes. Since you opened it, yes.
I have to leave the bottle.
Did you put your mouth on
Leave
it?
the bottle.
Oh, wow.
I'm
It's
gonna need that.
for this. Oh, boy. We do have fun, huh? We do have fun.
I'm afraid Michael Ray Bauer. He's
What's
not
that?
gonna. Michael Ray Bauer is not gonna do the show.
What now? So what's his reasoning for that? Doesn't he want to get his name out there and get all
You
the...
guys piss me off.
No, he specifically said he does not need our help, want our help. He doesn't care about the numbers. We are a hate-filled organization, and why?
Oh.
He has no specific problems with me. His problems with all of you, and specifically with the Onion people.
Well, I was going to say, it must be our affiliation with Patrick Melton, because we've really been... Well, maybe we did a video or two about him, but...
Hey, I may be ugly and hate-filled, but I've, what was the third thing you said?
I sang you the potato skins.
So, is that...
That's a good mo.
Adam, is that the first podcast host who's turned you down? Because it seems like it.
It does.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow. I can tell you're reeling. This is a bummer for you.
I thought we'd be friends.
Well, right, because you guys have that Nickelodeon connection.
And I really was interested in hearing his thoughts on all that. You know, there's
Yeah,
things
I
he
believe
understands that only him and I have been through. And I did offer, I'm like, if you just want to hang out, you just want to, because I really just wanted to talk to him. But I'm now,
Oh, no. Adam's getting very desperate.
I'm with the other side.
Now he's just
not
looking for a guy to have lunch with.
Just him. I wanted to.
Just
That'd
him and
be
Christian Blatt. No, I understand.
fun. No, I won't do that again. I tried that once.
That makes sense.
Everybody gets one.
That story checks out.
Everybody gets one.
Silent Shape says, F donkey lips.
No.
No. That's not what we're saying at all. We're disappointed. He doesn't want to be our friend.
It does further that feeling everyone was trying to tell me that, like, certain people or things are just kind of black holes. Like, they need to exist on their own. Anything that goes in just disappears. And they need to exist on their own because he needs a lot of help. He's always asking for help. I did offer that in my own way.
help. Financial help is what he wants.
Sure, and I even mentioned that. I even mentioned I would be open to anything, and he's not. He doesn't love me the way I love him, Carl.
Christians in the chat. Yeah, that lunch was one and done, Ambush. I guess he feels the same way, or maybe he's just trying to spare his own feelings. It's hard to tell. Rocco or B, who gets thrown out of bingo? Yeah, who did get thrown out of bingo? Adam did, and
Dame Taft?
oh, was it Dame Taft?
It was a civilian.
All I know is that I was listening to Patrick and Moody talk about Hackamania on the show they did last night. And they were talking about how bingo sucked and they're not going to do that again. They thought it was going to be a lot different than that. And they were saying how the bingo people are very territorial. And once we encroached on their space, they were not happy with us.
Sure.
They didn't want us there.
Yeah.
And the woman next to me was actually pretty helpful. But then I realized she moved over a seat.
So she really helped you out.
Like she was annoyed.
Well, I said it looked like the DMV, but think about how they act. They act like people who hate their jobs.
That's true.
And they want to take it out on you.
That's true.
Just like the DMV.
Yeah, it did feel very much like the DMV. And it was just as fun.
And lit.
Literally just
Lit.
as fun. Yeah.
The only place in that casino with fluorescent lighting.
Yeah. And you went through a strange like garage to get there. It was weird.
Dame Taft is in the chat.
Oh, hello.
$2. Hackamania 3 starring WATB. Promo code BEARS.
This rumor's getting out of hand.
Wow. I've already negotiated the terms of this.
Okay.
They will have one of those circles on Fremont Street.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So they'll be performing in the round. They have to like pick up every 15 minutes and move the desk and then talk to this part of the audience. Like the old Beatles shows.
See them both fighting for space.
All right. How are things sounding out there in YouTube land? Can you hear things like this?
Oh, yes! You say yes! You say yes!
Yes.
Nope.
Hopefully you can hear that. Sound good. Uh-oh. Adam's having a coughing fit right here in the studio with us.
You can't hear it, though.
Nope. Now he's making me want to cough.
He's a pro.
It's contagious like a yawn.
Yeah.
These coughs that he has. Oh, boy. We're back, baby. Back in the studio.
Feels nice.
Back with a live show on the YouTubes. Does feel good. Does feel good to be here with all you fine folks who show up on Wednesdays with Adam. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Let me move this right here. There we go. Now it's making more sense. Michael P. $2 says, "Go Bills." It's a long off season with football. It's a long off season, but we'll get through it.
We should get back to Flying Bison. Isn't that how we know Michael? Is that
we did. He did come out to the Flying. Wait, is it called Flying Bison? The brewery there?
Sure.
The Dopes played.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did. He was at. He's been at the Dabblecons too. But yeah, he did come out to see the Isotopes. I want to play Ironworks again. That's a cool venue in Buffalo. Yeah. Hellraiser 69, $10. Just caught up on the Hackamania shows on stream. I really enjoyed them. I'll be at the Carlson for the June 14th show on the 31st. Will I see you Cuzzaroos there? Is that coming up this?
It is.
Oh shit! I got to reach out to Jim. We got to get him over here. We got to force him to do WATP with us.
Yes.
Fuck.
You said that weeks ago.
I did?
Yes.
May is busy. I still don't have my hotel accommodations for Dallas. I got to figure that out.
And Devo.
Yes, we got to get Devo. I got our Boston Airbnb.
Okay.
That was a heavy lift on my part. So
All
I feel
right.
like I'm doing pretty good right now.
Yes.
So Hellraiser 69, yeah, we'll definitely be at the Florentine show. I don't know. Is he just a one night thing?
I think it's 2.
Yeah, it's Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which night should we go? You're going on the 31st, Hellraiser? What night is that, producer Chris? Help me out. Oh,
That would be a Saturday because it's a week after our show in Cuca Lake. And yeah, it is Friday and Saturday for Jim Florentine. 4 shows.
okay. Yeah, okay. We'll get them scheduled. I don't know if we want to go on the Friday night or the Saturday night. I typically like to go to the comedy club on the Friday night, but I could go on a Saturday. I can make that happen.
Yeah, we have Jim in the show.
Right.
We'll go see him.
Programming note. This Saturday,
Yeah.
I'm going to move things to 3. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. Pat Oates is on the show. He confirmed.
Nice.
3 o'clock's going to work. My nephew's son is turning 1. So I'm going to go over and say hi. Say hi to the family.
Sure you don't want to live stream from there?
Yep.
All right.
Coach Ubiquity. A lot of benign growths at bingo.
I get it.
Dame Taft. Carl, why aren't you wearing your gay shirt? It's in the laundry, Dame Taft. Just wore it on the last WATP episode. You're looking at me like, I think that's a gay shirt.
I was trying to come up with a joke. It's a sperm whale.
Something like that. Something like that. Let's see if the super tip system is working. supertip.gg/WATP is where you want to go to support and participate in this show, like Detroit Dabbler right here.
Thanks for directing me to my junk box, Carl. I didn't expect my Hackamania ticket to be emailed there. That steel toe is a fucking idiot.
Oh, yeah. I did get some emails from people saying they didn't get their password. And check the spam. Always check the spam folder when you think you didn't get your password. But thank you, Detroit Dabbler. I'm glad you were able to watch the shows this weekend. Anonymous,
Do you want to give
$10.
out the name and credit card info of any of the people that emailed you right now?
Oh, yeah. We should probably start the doxing segment.
Do you want to do that?
I didn't prep the doxing segment today, but I can just go through on the fly and just pick random
I got a
lines.
bumper
Shoot 'em.
for that.
Random lines on the spreadsheet. We just start going through it. And now quad fathers would be all upset. Oh, now they're making jokes. I can't do a quad father.
Well, that sounded sad enough.
Anonymous says, Adam, I saw your Wikipedia page. At the bottom, it says that currently you are the Wednesday host of Who Are These Podcasts? Lady K, you might have to get a Wikipedia page going. Yeah, there should be a link to the WATP Wikipedia page from Adam's Wikipedia page. That's how Wikipedia works.
Yeah, but
That's great.
Who's on this for us? That is cool, though. I did see that because I get the Who Are These Podcasts Google alerts. So if someone's writing some shit out there, I'll know about it. I'll find it. I did get an alert that was included there on Adam's wiki page, which I assume you're scrambling to have taken down.
That's all I do all day and night.
That's
It's my number one is monitoring and making sure it's representative of all of my lies.
Smart. You know who does that? Your buddy Chad Zumock.
Yeah, I haven't seen my Wikipedia page in years.
He hired a company called Reputation.com to scrub the internet of all the nefarious things that he's done.
Did it
They
work?
did a terrible job.
Well, they've actually done an amazing job. You can find his DUI, the one that got him fired from his job in Cleveland, but all the other shit is gone, which is why.
Oh, so he did this recently.
Yeah,
okay.
not too long ago.
All right.
But that's why, like, when he went on Alex Stein's show, and when people need to know, like, what's his rap sheet, people come to me because I have the entire list. I've written it out on a very easy to read spreadsheet, but I also have the documented folder full of Chad Zumock crimes if anyone's interested. Maybe I should put that on the Patreon. If you guys want to know all the crimes that Chad Zumock is guilty of, or was arrested for, some of them he got out of. A lot of them he didn't, but I can put that up on patreon.com/who are these podcasts. What else can we put up on our Patreon that'll piss people off? MLC takes down all their episodes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think
Can we
of
start putting up the MLC?
stats and charts that we have over the years.
Oh, you should put up Zen's stand-up. Letitia.
That's a good idea. I mean, it's not like the Shilly Network weren't showing everything from Hackamania this past weekend on their channel, so I'm sure they'll understand. Sure they'll be cool with it. We got a lot to talk about today.
We do.
We have a guest coming on today. We don't have a lot of guests on this show usually. But I'm
What's
excited
exciting is
about
that
our
I heard you
guest.
talk to him in advance. You guys had a little chat in advance.
Just an email. Just an email
okay.
exchange.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
So
do
wild
not
card, we'll
discuss
find out.
things beforehand.
We do not discuss things ahead of time. No, he sent me an email with a very interesting story about Stuttering John. And I said, you should come on the show and talk about that.
And how interesting was that story, Carl?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Adam. I think the audience is going to be very compelled to stick around for that interview.
I agree. Looking forward to it, buddy.
You're like Bert Kreischer when he was mouthing the jokes at the Tom Brady roast. He's sitting there reading the fucking teleprompter
Line.
like an idiot. Trent Pivo. Remember, for 21 months, hey, guy, people that live in Wisconsin are called Wisconsinites. Not whatever you said at Hackamania. Oh, I probably said Wisconsiners. Your brother would have known that.
Low blow.
Yeah.
Wisconsinites. What would you say? Now you already know the answer, so you're going to act like you're smart. So maybe I shouldn't even ask.
Why would I start now?
Yeah, good point. Did you know it was Wisconsinites?
No.
I thought it was dipshits.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
That's mean.
Wisconsin residents.
Well, yeah, well, that actually is technically correct. Way to ruin the whole bit. Way to bring things to a screeching out. We had a great episode.
That's my job.
I was going to say, I was just remembered. We had a great emergency episode yesterday, breaking down everything that happened at Hackamania in Vegas. Yeah. And Adam decided to hop on with us, and things got real.
I love his entrance was great. I saw that things were winding down, so
We're not going to get into on WATP because we don't really cover Steel Toe. I am going to do some Steel Toe today, but I'm not going to cover like his response to Hackamania because like we do that in This Little Piggy, and Melton covered that very well with Moody. Yes, it's been covered. But if you haven't watched Nobody Likes Onions, the 5-hour stream they did overnight last night, they react to every fucking thing that Aaron said in the morning show and the evening show about Hackamania.
you have to admit it was hard not to.
It's hard not to.
We
'cause
couldn't get through 5 seconds.
the guy just contradicts himself.
Yeah.
He says this thing, and then 2.5 minutes later, he says the exact opposite thing.
Yeah, if you let a clip go too long, he crams in too many lies.
He goes, oh my gosh, what a disappointment Hackamania was. Nothing new came out. Yeah, he's doing this thing with his hands. Nothing new came out. There was nothing. It was, who cared? And then 2.5 minutes later, he's just like, I can see why people who are fans of NLO would have really enjoyed that show and all the salacious details that came out. We're like, yeah, right, correct. That's what happened.
He's breaking new ground.
Yeah.
He also said it was such a nothing burger that it's so easy to just ignore it. But I'm also calling my lawyer.
Yeah.
Right. So he was getting legal advice about what he could do with that. But also, every text message that was posted and read by AI was completely real, except for the ones that April wrote about him licking cum off of her chest.
Yeah.
Those were fictional. Everything else was real. Isn't that Coincidental?
I'm glad he pointed that out because
Yeah.
I was convinced otherwise.
How convenient that is for him. Little cummy in his tummy. It's crazy how he tried to flip the script on who the cuck was, as if like, in a cuck relationship, the cuck bull relationship, there's a cuck and a bull.
Slow down.
I've done some research on this. In Aaron's mind, it's just two cocks. we're just cucking around.
Cucking it
together.
up.
Yeah, right. It's like, what the cuck? He seems to be off on how that works.
We've all found ourselves, at least I have, you're on a dating site and you talk to a girl and they're like, I'm really into bondage. Are you? And you're like, yeah, I am. And you got to figure it out real fast or whatever they say. You're just kind of, he's an expert on all sexual kinks. He knows the ins and outs of threesomes, of polyamory, like things you can't know about until you've actually done it. He's already an expert on. So he doesn't realize how stupid he sounds when he talks about two bottoms or two cucks getting together and cucking. It's like, that's not how it works. And
He also knows he also knows what he's into and what he's not into, except for it took him 5.5 months to figure out what he was into and not into. And even then, it seemed like someone else made the decision for him.
I don't think I like this.
The Aaron Imholte story. I don't think I like this.
That's pretty good.
Drunkle Greg became a YouTube member. Thank you, Drunkle Greg. You get 2 bonus episodes every month.
Blech.
You can find the old bonus episodes. The previous, I shouldn't say old. We did 3 last month.
Yeah.
Previous bonus shows, if you go onto the membership tab on our YouTube channel. And I'll remind the generous folks out there, you can always gift memberships, accept gifted memberships if you'd like to receive that. You also get to watch the shows live on Saturdays. And this Saturday, as I mentioned, will be going on an hour later than usual. But the great Pat Oates will be back finally. It's been too long since we've seen our buddy Pat. All right. What do you guys think? We bantered enough? There's been enough pre-show banter?
Quality banter. I like
Banter.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best in the biz. Wait, don't tell Mike I said that. Nobody tell Mike I said that. Fuck. All right, I think I'm ready to go.
Aaron ate my goo.
Episode
600.
Are you a boner guy?
Oh, I was a boner guy.
You know what? I miss penis.
What are you talking about?
I'm the one who should apologize.
Is it going to be absolutely riveting? Is it going to change your life by any stretch? Probably not, but it's going to be at least entertaining, okay?
By the way, for those people that are in the back, remember to shut the fuck up.
Mental illness can literally drive you crazy.
I've been dying to say that.
Cuz-a-roo. Slap-a-rooney.
It's showtime.
WAATP.
WATP.
Hello, Rubber Dicks and Cuzzaroos. Welcome to another episode of Who Are These Podcasts, the only show that went to Vegas and reported everything they saw. I'm your host, Carl. With me every Wednesday, a man whose appearances on podcasts continue to get less and less special. It's Adam Busch.
Wearing out my welcome with every interview I have. So happy to be here.
Producer Chris is here with us as well. What's up, Chris?
Hello. How you doing?
Please go to whoarethese.com. That's where you get our email address, voicemail number, link to our subreddit, link to our Discord server, link to our merchandise, link to our YouTube channel, and the link to Patreon and Supercast featuring 2 exclusive bonus episodes every single month. You can watch the unedited shows live or whenever you want to when you sign up on our YouTube channel or on Patreon. You get the links, or Supercast. You get the links to all the shows, and you can watch them when we're doing it. And an even better way to watch us live is to go to Boston on June 21st. WATPlive.com is where you can go for tickets. We'll be at the City Winery with Dick Masterson and Johnny, the audio engineer. We got the whole crew from Who Are These Podcasts, and I'm happy to report 0 vetoes. There will be 0 veto Giswaldi's
He got vetoed
at the show in Boston. So tickets are going fast. We don't have a ton left, so get on that sooner than later. Make a trip to Boston. Come hang out with us June 21st. We'll probably do a meetup Friday before, so we'll announce. If you go on our Discord, whoarethese.com, there's a link to our Discord channel, free to sign up. There's a channel in there that's like WTP Meetup or something like that. And I usually make announcements of where we're going to be when we're traveling. So you can look there. I put it out on my X account as well if you want to find out where we're going to be. So we'll be getting in on Friday. I don't know when everyone's getting in, but we'll figure that out. I'm sure people will be around by Friday night time. Also, we encourage our listeners, give us 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and then shit all over us in the comment section. Today, we'll be talking to a guy who used to play gigs with Stuttering John's band back in the day. Adam Busch was on with Skinny Chad Zumock. Steel Toe did a roast video for Hackamania. Opie is once again needling Anthony needlessly. But first, Financial Audit with Caleb Hammer had the dumbest guest on ever. This is a suggestion from Aaron B. We've both listened separately. We've not discussed it with each other beforehand. Financial Audit is 2.08 million subs. This episode from 5 days ago has 532,000 views. Of course, Caleb Hammer is the host. The guest on this episode is a woman named Star. We've covered this show before, of course. Financial Audit is this show where people who are having financial issues, they're in debt, they're having a hard time paying off loans or getting their bills paid on time. They go to Caleb Hammer and he goes through all of their expenses, all of their income, and puts together a budget for them so that they can get right. Caleb's a financial guru. That's how he's able to do this. And they find some interesting guests, and that's really, he gets more and more animated as the years go on, and the guests seem to get dumber and dumber. And Adam and I were talking about this episode this afternoon, and I compared it a little bit to the Jerry Springer show, where there's reality there, but I don't know if you've seen the documentary about Jerry Springer. It's great because you see the pressure on the producers to get the guests that are going to cause fireworks. You know, we got to find the guy who married a horse. We got to get him on the show. And it's real. They got a guy who married a horse. Like, they didn't make that up. It's like cast or
Yeah,
something like
so
that.
the producer doesn't have to say act crazy.
Right, except for they do try to ramp them up a little bit.
Sure.
So it's kind of like a reality show where there's reality, but there's also some scripted things happening in there. And I'm curious about this show because it's very popular. People like it. I enjoy it. But I wonder about these guests, if they're coached at all. So what I tried to do is I wanted to show you how this guest reacts to things. She seems to be very, very dumb. I doubt she would play a character like this on purpose with all the views that it's getting. But you know,
call
who
this
knows?
a Trisha Paytas type.
Yes, very, very dumb.
Oh, boy.
And when we start off the show, we're already off to a really bad start with her.
My name is Star. I'm 40 years old. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and this is Financial Audit.
Want to do it again?
Yeah.
Go for it.
This is, God, why am I having like a brain fart right now? My bad. I'm so sorry.
You know what? We'll just leave that in and we'll start. That's okay.
So this is Star, 40-year-old woman who came into Austin to be on the show. And the first 15 minutes are difficult to get through because she just answers every question with one word, doesn't elaborate on anything. And Caleb's just like, okay, what does that mean? So, for example, what do you do for a living? I'm a social media manager. Okay, for a brand and an industry, for a company, TikTok.
Yes.
You work for TikTok? No, I work with TikTok. It's like, it just, on and on and on. Anyway, the point is, she says that she helps TikTokers adhere to the terms of service. And he's like, okay, so you tell TikTokers not to use the N-word? What does that mean? Doesn't seem like a hard job. And then she also provides birth chart readings. She gets into some like astrology and stuff like that. And she can't explain what any of it means. And she goes, well, if I could like read your birth chart, I could help explain this. And Caleb goes, what do you mean? Why do I have to do that? But he plays along. He goes on this website. He types in his date of birth, the time he was born, the place he was born, and all that. And then Star here decides to read the chart so we can start getting some answers to these questions.
So you have a stellium in Capricorn, which makes a lot of sense since you are the financial guru. And you also have your moon is in Leo.
Are you just reading what the fucking, like...
I'm reading the chart right here.
You're reading the chart, or are you reading what, like, the bullet points are?
Do you see where I'm pointing?
Keep going. Okay, my moon is in fucking Cancer or something, okay.
No, it's in Leo.
Sure.
And your Mars is retrograde in Leo as well. So you...
Please do what you need to be able to answer my question, because you needed to know my star chart.
You see, this is what I do. I answered your question.
That is the most you've talked in 16 minutes right there. So, yep, keep going.
I read people's charts for them. I write up a report, and I send it to them. They pay me for that.
I just need you to be able to answer my questions. You said you needed to see my star chart to be able to answer my questions.
For an example.
So it turns out that the only reason for this whole exercise that takes forever, he has to call his mom and dad to find out the time he was born, and they have to find his birth certificate and shit.
Just to make her feel smart?
Yeah, just so she could demonstrate, like, oh, this is the thing that I do, that your moon is in retrograde near Mars.
This is going to go south. She's already defensive.
Oh, it goes real south. Yeah. It's not great. And she's wasting time. Oh, yeah. And he's just like, okay, so people pay you to do that thing, and she like, kind of prove that she could do it or something. I'm not sure. But then we get into, so how much money do you make? And she can never answer any of these questions, but, you know, he's got all the finances in front of him, so he can look. And he sees, and she says she makes about $2,000 a month between this social media manager job she has and then reading birth charts to people and stuff like that. So he goes, that's not a lot of money, $2,000 a month. How do you live on that? Like, what are your expenses? And she has a really hard time figuring that out. She says, my expenses are like $800 a month.
It's not like she has a family or anything.
No, she has 2 kids, actually.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
But how much came? How much went out, though? How much was spent? Because $1,800 came in. 40% of it from child support. How much went out? Can you coach it out yourself, please? You need to call the stars. You need to summon them down. Talk to Mars, Jupiter. Hello. How much should I spend?
On what account?
Everything. Oh my, everything.
Everything?
Everything. This can be debt. It can be anything. All your accounts.
I don't know. It ranges.
You need
I
to
got
create
bills.
a chart for it. You need to put in your birthdays. You need to get down to the millisecond in order to get this number.
I don't know. It could range up to 1,900. Just depends.
Up to from what? When someone gives a range, they usually give this where the range starts.
It could be 900. It could be 1,000. It could be 800 one month. I mean, it just
But this
depends
last
on
month, what do you think you spent?
Probably 800.
Do you have rent?
Yes.
How much is your rent?
$243.
What?
She's in subsidized housing.
Okay.
Her rent is
Did she go on a show to get views? Why is she here?
This is what I can't understand. Because if you've ever watched the show before, you know these are the questions that are going to come up.
Of course.
And she doesn't know the answer to any of these.
She's not even speaking most of the time.
And this is where I want to get into like how they vet the people for the show. And they talk about it's a multi-step vetting process. There's a lot of questions the producers ask beforehand, and they get all of this financial information, and they give it to Caleb so he can just come in and have the info in front of him and start asking questions. And she's very confused. So, Adam, I'll ask you, we're going to get into more of this, but what are your thoughts? Is this a character she's playing? Is she really this dumb? Are people really this dumb?
It feels like this is a bit like when a dating show really needs to cast people that are interesting, and they'll even pick people that are like secretly married because they're big characters, and the person's willing to do it because it's a TV appearance and it'll help stuff out. So I think there's a degree of reality, like she's probably very bad with money and hasn't really checked out her finances, but I don't think, it was her idea to be here. I don't think she's really looking for answers or for help. I think they found a wild character that he would react to, and it takes a lot of the realism out of it. The only thing I do think is kind of real is that she sees herself as a business owner. And nothing and no one is going to take that title away from her. And she's going to hold on to that and fight it no matter what he says. That part is real. The rest of it just feels like a show to me, or like a bad improv.
Now, I know that when Adam speaks, everyone listens.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there is more reality to this than that. I think this woman really is this bad with her financial health, and she is very stupid.
Oh, I believe that. I just don't think she's actively looking for help. She doesn't seem at all like she wants this problem fixed.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. Because they bring up Lindsay, who is the woman in charge of finding these people.
Okay.
And there's a few times, we'll get to examples, there's a few times when Caleb's kind of getting frustrated, like yelling at Lindsay about what's going on here. But before that, things get heated pretty early on in the show.
So in this...
So you just scam people out of money. Let's be honest. You just scam people out of money for their charts. You scam people out of money for helping them be in community guidelines. You scam people out of money. You're a scammer. I'm going to call it as I see it.
Absolutely not.
I don't give a
No.
You're a scammer.
I am not a scammer.
I mean, literally, the producers are telling me that you called your own agency a Ponzi scheme.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting.
Great.
She nodded yes.
Right, yes. So one of the things, I brought this up last time we reviewed this show, I'll just bring it up again. The stupid dings is when every time he uses the F word, and he uses the F word 3 or 4 times a sentence. So it gets very annoying. Again, Caleb, if you're watching, stop swearing so much, or just mute it. Like, we don't need to have the sound effect. It's like fucking watching Red Bar. It's like, okay, here comes, I'm like ready for the fucking sound effect again. It's like, here it comes. This is where things get a little heated and contentious.
Why would you not seek people for their insights into your life? Because obviously you're a complete fuck up.
I am not a fuck up.
You spent
And
double
how
what
dare
you
you
make.
tell me that I'm a fuck up?
You spent double what you make. You only grift for a living. You work for what you call a Ponzi scheme. Excuse me, what's going for you?
My life. I'm still breathing.
Oh, okay. Being able to survive as a sentient being. That's it. That's our gold stars.
Yep.
So it's pretty good to not be ambitious, because you'll probably, achieve your goals. You know what I mean?
A little drunk. Is he a little drunk?
He might be. He's wound up on this one.
Yeah.
I should have mentioned, I didn't say this, but when she goes, I guess like $800 are my expenses for the month. He goes, it was $4,000 you spent last month. So she made $1,850 and spent $4,000. That's where Caleb gets very upset with people.
And it was subtle. I don't see a whole lot of like production on this, but there was a slow close up as he was fuming. That was very impressive.
So she then says she's starting a new business as a travel agent. And Caleb goes, well, I don't think we have travel agents in 2025. She goes, oh, no. They're very important and necessary.
She helps you understand the what is it? The bookings.com terms of service.
Probably, yes. Because she's like going through this training, but at the same time she's starting this other business where she's training people on how to be creators on social media. I mean, it's so confusing. Who knows what's going on? And so Caleb is already wondering, how do we find someone like this?
I have my own business. You can look them up.
Lindsay, the people you find in this country will never cease to amaze me. Okay, so you're not a business. You're a contractor to someone else's business. You do not own a business.
I have my own business.
So that talking to Lindsay, the woman who's responsible for bringing these people in, that could be part of the act. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you find these people, because it is so outrageous. It's very possible. I'm still not sure though. I'm still holding on to hope that this is real.
Well, I believe that she will fight to the death rather than have anyone take away her girl boss mug that she bought.
That's probably true. Yes, I think that's right. So they talk about, all right, so can you show me this training course you're putting together? Can you show me this training you're doing to become a travel agent? He's asking these questions because she says she's spending a lot of time on this stuff, like 30 hours a week on this stuff. And she's like, well, I can't show you that. I mean, that's private. That's, classified stuff. And that's when this word gets brought up.
I would assume.
Well, there's certain things I can't show you because that's not for me to show you.
What?
You're not a part of the
program?
agency. Yeah. Not only that, but then I developed an e-learning program for social media.
You developed an e-learning program?
Yes, I did. Now that I can personally show you.
For fuck's sake. You developed an e-learning program. You know what? The word grifter gets thrown around online. And I'll let you into my personal life. I've had a couple of people call me a grifter. And this is because I sell products online. It is only because of people like you that people look down immediately at the fact that I put on an educational program and have launched a budgeting app.
So he's already like personally offended by this woman calling herself, she's developing online training courses. And he's just like, motherfucker. There's people calling me a grifter because of people like you out there grifting away. And this is a funny exchange back after that.
And it's only because people like you go out there and just put out slop and charge hundreds or thousands of...
How do you know it's slop?
Because I'm talking to you.
So what? But how do you know it's slop?
Because I'm talking to you.
How do you know I didn't go and get somebody to mentor me through this?
Because I'm talking to you. You can't speak on anything.
Okay. So that's kind of fun. I mean, he's very insulting.
He's got her there.
Yes, to this woman. So she wants to pull out her tarot cards or whatever her cards are. And just like, well, this is how I figure out what to do for financial information. I just ask the cards and she said, I could do a reading for you and I'll show you the wisdom in these. And so he's thinking about it, but then he realizes that his audience is not here for that. And this gets a little awkward.
Okay. I can do a reading for you. Would you like?
I thought you already did.
I looked at your chart. This is card reading.
For fuck's sake. Okay, people are going to be upset if I don't get into the finances. So let's do a little finances first, and then I'll let you play with your toys.
But bump.
Well, it wasn't a joke.
You said play with my toys.
Yeah, that's all they are.
That could go real left for a lot of people that don't know what the toys are.
Yeah, I'm not picturing you using a vibrator.
Well, don't use toys then. Naughty.
No, I have zero interest.
She thinks he's hitting on her. She's just like, oh, God. Definitely not.
And it seems like that's the zone where she's most comfortable.
Right. I think that's where she wants to be like, oh, toys? Oh, you're thinking about my vagina, are you? Like, nope. I have a feeling that when Caleb goes on a first date, there's a lot of questions about finances and debt, income. I'm guessing he doesn't want to fix her up her project like that. So this is just kind of a fun insult as they're breaking down her accounts and what's coming in and what's going out and what she has as far as debt.
I was going to break it down for you because they're different accounts.
Please break it down.
And there's different money that goes into these accounts.
Yes, breakdown, please.
So any of the money that I get from like taxes or a lump sum of money goes into my Navy Federal and just stays there. I don't touch it. That's what pays my car note. That's what pays the loan. And that's how I'm able to pay that off.
Me. I thought they gave you the fake name Star because you're into astrology, not because you have the mental capacity of a stripper.
Oh, wait a second.
Sick.
Something was said.
Yes. Yeah, so Star is not her real name, obviously, but it's a fun.
It feels like there were execs that like came down to him and said, the show's going great. We need less of the financial auditing and just more of the fireworks. So can you guys just focus on that? And he's like, whatever, we'll sell my products. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you're right.
Because the show really worked when he was trying to help them and these people like didn't like what was happening, but they needed his help. Because I believe people don't look at their money. Like that's how they deal with it. They just don't want to know out of fear. And he deals with that really well. But this is something else. He's not trying to help her. The first thing he said is, you're a grifter. You're a scammer. It's like, where do we go from there?
Well, he keeps telling her to get a real job. I think that's what he was trying to convey is like these things you're trying to do and this Ponzi scheme agency you work with and stuff like this isn't it. Go get a real job. She keeps saying, I homeschool my 8-year-old daughter who's autistic, and so I have to find work that I can work around my homeschooling schedule. And his argument is, send her to public school and get a fucking job.
It's not bad advice.
It's not the worst advice. This guy gives some pretty good advice.
And I'm sorry, she's not there to get further ahead. She's there to get out of her current debt, which we see on screen.
Oh, yeah, which, by the way, goes way up to over 100,000 by the end of this. But yeah.
Why push back on any of this?
Right.
You're the one in debt.
Oh, that's the problem with these people. They think that they're going to turn it around like that. You don't understand. My business is going to launch next month, and then we're going to turn it all around. I'll start making money.
Yeah. Even if you convince me you're right, you still are in debt.
No, but this is like talking to a person with a drug problem who goes, no, I know. I'm going to figure it out. I got this under control.
I told you I am going to figure it out.
I know, but I don't believe you is my point.
Oh. But listen to this. No.
All right, so what Caleb does next is he brings in a moron translator because he can't understand what she's saying to him. So he goes, all right, who's the dumbest employee here? And he finds the dumbest employee who works for him and has him sit down next to her because he asked a question about, so he looks at the credit card statement and she's just making minimum payments and paying, 27% interest or whatever. And she's still putting charges on the card. He goes, why are you still buying things on credit when you're not even paying off your card? And she goes, well, because I was planning on paying it off. And he goes, what? What does that mean? What do you? What? I'm asking, why would you put more charges on a card? You can't pay off. And then,
yeah, intentions don't help your case.
Right. So then he brings in the moron translator, and they have a debate about leadership skills because she keeps saying that she's a leader, and that's her skill set.
And now you're a scammer.
I am not a scammer.
Explain how what you're doing is not scamming.
I'm not. I'm actually using my leadership skills and my education.
Can you tell me what leadership skills you have?
I have great organizational skills. I build a community for my people. So it's not just about...
That's leadership? Being organized is leadership?
You'd be surprised that some people cannot put together...
Some leaders are not organized, but it's not a leadership skill.
It should be. Being organized should be.
Translate.
It kind of sounds like she runs a Discord.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even she's just like, I can run a Discord.
Are they hiring?
That's pretty funny. Well, during this interview, Caleb goes, I'm actively hiring positions right now, and one of them is a leadership position. So I'm going to interview you. And he starts going through the interview, and she's just bombing horribly, which is why she doesn't have a real job, because she wouldn't be able to get one if she wanted to. But then she finally explains what it is that she does, because she's on TikTok, and it's all about these live streams on TikTok, because she keeps explaining, like, no, this is very difficult stuff to do to become an influencer and a creator. And Caleb's just like, bitch, I got 2 million subscribers. He doesn't say that, but that's what he's thinking. It's like, you're telling me? Yeah, you're telling me this is difficult? I fucking know how to do this shit. But then she finally explains what it is that she does on TikTok. And I was taken aback. I'm a little offended by this.
Well, if I'm entertaining and people are gifting me, then that's what I'm going to do.
But they're not gifting you. You're gifting other people.
I was making...
But you paid for it.
I wasn't always paying for it. I had fans that came into my room and enjoyed me bruising people's egos. That's what I did.
What?
It was entertaining for them.
What do you mean?
It's a good type of banter.
What do you were just sitting there trashing them?
It's called bantering.
I think that we're talking to people. We're paying to talk.
So she talks shit to people. She's like Jack's Last Resort. What's it called? Jack Astor's. I'm combining the two places.
Yeah.
Dick's Last Resort, yeah. But it's like one of those things where it's like you just hurl insults at people, which is fun. I like that job.
I think you have a future there.
It's great.
I feel like Aaron Imholt's like, what's her number?
Yeah, right. She calls this banter, which, by the way, remind me to try out this Thursday on Who Are These Socials, our new style of banter. You fucking blind piece of shit.
How many fingers, Mike? How many fingers? I thought so.
Just one, asshole. I'm kidding. I love blind Mike. All right, so that's what she was doing. She was doing banter. She was insulting people that came into her room, and they were giving her money for it. I guess that wasn't very lucrative, but she did have a job recently, and she explains what that job entailed and why it didn't work out for her.
Why the are you allowed to leech off the taxpayer?
I'm not leeching off of anybody,
Yes,
and
you
I
are.
have tried.
Tried what?
My last job, I had a really bad situation.
Tell.
Where I was interviewing men in particular, and every time I got on the screen with them, they got their little willies out and started whacking him.
I'm not gonna have you translate that one. Well, that you said the word interviewing. You were interviewing them?
Yes, it was on.
What was your job?
It was a food and beverage platform. They were in the shower. They were just taking advantage.
I shouldn't laugh at that. I shouldn't laugh at that because I don't know if it's a.
Okay. So apparently she did have this job where she was doing these virtual interviews with guys, and the guys would see her and just chub right up and start blasting off.
Doesn't this all sound like some coded phone sex thing that she does? She says, I can't work in front of my kid because they're there.
Yeah, I can't work on my phone.
Yeah,
you're right.
I can't.
Actually, yeah, think about that. So she insults people. That's like a dominatrix kind of thing.
People pay good money for that.
And now her next job is for food and beverage, but everyone's jerking off on the things like it's chat roulette or something. That's not a job, chat roulette, just FYI.
It could be if you get specific.
Sure. So Caleb hears that, and he's like, all right, so I understand that you would leave there. She goes, oh, no, that's not why I don't work there anymore.
Could not take it anymore that they were just sweeping it under the rug. There was no safeguarding for.
I agree.
It
Leave
didn't
that
just.
job.
It didn't just happen to me. No, they fired me because I reported them.
Okay, I would have sued. Listen, it's. I don't want to push back because that sounds horrible, but the fact is, with this entire conversation, it makes it impossible to believe you. But let's just believe you. Okay.
So she was fired from that job that she hated where guys were jerking off. And he's just like, well, why wouldn't you just sue them? An employer can't put you in that situation legally. But it all gets very mumbled. I don't think she's understanding how life works at all. She can't explain it anyway. So they kind of move on from that conversation. And then it's finally time. He goes, okay, fine. Pull out those fucking cards and you tell me how to be wealthy or whatever this is going to tell me.
All right. So how much do people pay for this?
I don't normally give readings. It's not something that I charge for.
What?
I thought you said, okay, what's your business?
I'm a spiritual life coach.
Okay, life coach me then. Do you want to spiritual life coach me, or do you want to do my cards?
I'm going to do your cards.
So I'm pretty good with comprehension. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching this whole episode and I'm trying to follow along like what she does. And I could have sworn she was talking about how she gets paid for these readings. And he's like, all right, show me. And she goes, well, actually, that's not really what I do. What?
Okay.
Now she's a spiritual life coach, which is, by the way, definitely a bullshit title.
I get the impression she's never talked to someone smart before because she seems wildly unprepared.
You're right. She's a charmer, though. Maybe that's what her skill is. It's not working. So they go through with this, and they try to go through with this card reading.
Keep going.
Okay. Do you have a specific question?
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You have to be able to lead people.
Do you have a specific question in mind?
What kind of question am I asking?
It's like when you order Chinese.
Do you have a question in mind?
Are you going to be able to make it to the airport without getting lost?
Pretty good question. I'd be worried about that too. Because we're going to get you the fuck out of here as soon as possible. Yeah. So she goes on to say, like, no, you got to ask a question about yourself or whatever. So he's playing along, trying to meet her halfway. And this is a long clip, but I think it's worth it when we see what goes down. Oh, before that, things start getting worse after that.
So are you dating?
Yes.
Okay. Have you considered, is it something serious?
Could be.
Have you made it official? Because I'm seeing open relationship with this ice queen. If it's not somebody older than you, is she a little bit older than you?
No.
Okay, is she the same age?
No.
Okay. So
it's going really well.
I mean, he's trying to play along, and she's just not getting the right answers here. So this is the clip I was talking about. It's a little bit longer, but there's a good payoff here.
With that person, it's interesting. I mean, this person's a little more long distance, so that makes this one a bit more complicated compared to like something else.
Okay. I hope it works out.
That's it? Yeah. That's all you fucking got?
Yeah.
So nothing.
No, it's very discouraging. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do it.
What?
I can't do it.
You can't do what?
The reading. I got discouraged.
You got discouraged?
Yeah.
Why?
I just damn.
Because half your things you're saying were wrong?
Yeah.
That's discouraging.
Yes.
Oh, no.
I would be discouraged as well if I was bad at my job.
Yeah, I am bad. I'm sorry. I can't do this.
What?
I'm very discouraged right now.
Can't do what? The reading?
Yeah. I mean, just all of it, like the scammer part and just everything. I just was not expecting. Like once this goes out to the internet,
right? Of which you were onboarded for.
Yeah,
multiple times.
Yeah,
yes.
No. I totally agree, but I didn't know that.
See, that right there, Adam, is where I start to think there is some realness to this.
What does he mean by onboarding? What does that mean?
So yeah, this onboarding process where there's obviously multiple, like there's the initial interview, and then they probably collect the information, and then they have another interview. Now they've had this information, and they ask about goals and lifestyle and things like that, and then they make sure, okay, are you okay with this being on the internet? People are going to see your face. They're going to see these numbers, and she has to sign off all these waivers and go, yeah, I'm cool with all of that. That's what I would assume, right? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it must be some kind of vetting process, some kind of pre-interview. Yeah.
Right. So this is where I think the producer Lindsay chimes in a little bit.
That I would call it as I see it?
Not necessarily the stuff that I said was going to be used against me like that.
But you do scam people.
I don't personally scam anybody.
I am not trying to hurt your feelings, but you should not be selling a program online that you are not qualified for.
That is not. Besides that, but the agency is what pays my bills right now.
You call the agency a scam. You said that before you came on the show. Lindsay, what was said? What was said? Lindsay, what was said?
But there is.
She called the agency a.
So you referred to it as a Ponzi scheme because they give you money to pay clients, but if sometimes they don't give you enough to pay clients, so you have to pay them on your credit cards and then they reimburse you, but then it gets categorized as income for you and not as a reimbursement.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had written in my notes.
Oh no. So I don't think she understands what a Ponzi scheme is. I think just being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Probably not a lot of money to go around. She's not understanding how any of this works.
But that's what they do. These MLMs get you because they know you want to be able to say and put on your Facebook that you are a business owner, girl, boss, bad bitch, entrepreneur. And once you define yourself that way, you'll hold on to it forever. Nothing can take that away, no matter the facts, the money, the debt, your kids, your family. And I think she is realizing that now in real time. But she's been taken advantage of. That's an MLM.
And actually, to that point, this is the answer to the question, what's your dream job?
I was trying to stay along the lines with the creator manager.
Okay. Is that what you want to do? Is that the dream job?
That's not my dream job.
Okay, what's your dream job? Let's do that.
I would like to be an entrepreneur, and
that's not a job. You'd have to tell me what you want to be an entrepreneur in.
I swear to God, every dumb person, especially younger people, they all want to be influencers and entrepreneurs. Because it sounds like a really cool job. Like, oh, I don't have a boss, and I just have all this money. It's just like, oh, no, actually being an entrepreneur kind of sucks.
Yeah, when you're 6 and your kid says, I'm going to grow up to be a businessman, you go, yay! They'll figure out in what business later. Not at this age.
Not at 40 years old. You can't be like, what's your dream job? An entrepreneur. And I'm sure Caleb hears that a lot, but it's so depressing. But you're right. It's because she's been given this title. She thinks she owns her own business. She's selling those Cutco knives or Mary Kay cosmetics or whatever it is. and she's the girl boss. But it's just not working out because he's working with TikTok influencers that she gets a 3%.
She's got a million other side
on.
hustles. I think she can't be. She can't really reveal what the MLM is or what they sell, but it's clear that, and he points it out, she works for bigger corporations that tell her she's the boss.
Right. So then it's revealed that she has this other loan because he's going through her debt. And this is pretty crazy.
What is it? For?
That's a leftover balance.
For what?
I'm asking if that's what you're looking at.
Remaining balance is $3,678.
Yeah, so originally I was going to get have a surgery, and
you okay?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was just an elective surgery, and
But you didn't have the surgery.
I didn't have it, and I just decided to keep the money in there.
So she took out a loan for elective surgery that she decided not to do. It was just like, well, now I got this money, so that's cool.
I elected to keep it.
How long do you think she's had this money from the surgery that she didn't use?
Okay, so the personal loan's at 11.19%, and you just kept it. When did you take it out?
21 or 22?
No, it wasn't. You've been holding this for years, 3-4 years.
Yeah.
So she's got this loan that's 11% interest, and she's just continuing to pay that off.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's not good. And then he starts going through how she's paying. Like a third of her money comes in as child support. She's got a 20-year-old son, 8-year-old daughter. And so there's child support coming in, and Caleb starts looking through, like, how is that money getting spent? Are you spending that on your child?
In and Out, Moose Creamery. There's your child support coming in, so we got Ink and Dutch Bros and Jack in the Box. Listen. That says all that needs to be said. No.
Okay. That is her. If that's what she wants, then she can have that.
Let's cut through the bullshit. She's fucking 9, right?
She's 8. But if that's what she wants.
You know what? It's up to her.
If that's what she wants.
An 8-year-old. Maybe we should do school supplies. Maybe we should focus on.
She has that.
Buddy, all your child support money is going to fast food. It is disgusting and unacceptable.
Okay.
Yeah. This is where he gets very angry with her.
She's going to get discouraged again.
She's eating as cheaply as possible. You can't. She's saving money with it.
Is that what she's doing by going out to restaurants with her daughter every day? The idea that there's an 8-year-old autistic kid and the kid's like, well, I got that money from Dad. I'm going to go to Jack in the Box. Like, all right. Not teaching her anything about how finances work. And Caleb's not enjoying that, so he really calls her out here.
There we go. F you. I mean, like, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. This went from a funny conversation at the beginning because you couldn't answer the conversation to a conversation where I'm cutting the bullshit to a conversation where I'm now disgusted. And then the checking account, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. $1 in the checking account. Come on, this is Grubhub.
$1.
Grubhub.
He hates seeing Grubhub.
Yeah.
DoorDash.
Rightfully so.
Instacart. He
Yeah.
gets very upset with these types of expenses going on. I have one more clip out here because I think this is very funny. We find out another place where some of her money is going, the money that she can't afford because she's making half of what she spends every month.
I'm ashamed. Do you not feel ashamed? Not to make you feel bad, but just the reality of your situation. It's giving people birthday money, super chat money, super chat money. Super chat money for the dog. Super chat, super chat, super chat. What is all the super chat? It's all for one person. Tell me what it is.
The super chat.
You have to pay them?
I pay them.
I thought you were done with that.
For TikTok, yeah.
Oh, dude, it's $10 super chat. Send out, and they're just replying heart. You're super chatting this person endlessly.
Yeah, and you know what? You shouldn't super chat people if you don't have the money to afford it. But fortunately for us over here on Who Are These Podcasts, we have a very generous audience with deep pockets who are here to support the show. And I want to thank you for going to supertip.gg/WATP, like Amanda Nappy.
Carl, me and Amanda Lynn Nappy are sorry for calling you an idiot. Great job with Hackamania 2.
Thank you very much, Mandolin Nappy. I see what you're up to over there on the Blind Mike Project. Hunter Duke was hanging out with us this weekend. Can we get a Chad, SJ, or Toe live financial audit at Detroit 4 Live or Hackamania 3? That might blow the cum eating out of the Toe's mouth. I would absolutely love to see Chad especially. Chad brags about how he doesn't need it. He doesn't need to have money. And then he gets upset. People don't super chat him. He says, I won't do this anymore.
Yeah, but John would also be very interesting.
I know.
Wow. Watching him blow his top.
Yeah.
Try to fight him.
We got a John segment coming up in just a minute. I see our guest is here. We're going to bring him on with a very interesting experience with our friend Stuttering John. Of course, Adam Busch was on with Skinny Chad Zumock, Inspire a Theory podcast. We'll be breaking that down. We have the Steel Toe roast of me and Melton and Nick Ricada and the rest from Hackamania. Opie Radio is still to come. But again, thank you guys for supporting the show. This is Jason and Mesa. I met Adam on Friday and told him a quad feather joke. He said it was dark, almost as good as getting a laugh. It was nice meeting Chris, too. Hi, Carl. Hi, Jason.
Hey.
Thanks for coming to the show.
It was good seeing you, Jason and Mesa.
Good to see so many friendly faces out there. Rick U, $32.25. They make the guests use fake names and don't allow them to plug anything. She's like this purely for the love of the game. That is true. He goes, oh, so what's your website? She's like, oh, it's, and then they just bleep it. So there are no promotions or anything like that.
Arcana Stuff's Theorium. Aaron Opie are incapable of critical thinking. It is very disturbing. Do locals just assume that anyone who mocks them must be an NLO or WATP sycophant?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
that
answer
or
is
VTM.
Yes. The answer is yes, because they can't imagine a world where someone was critical of them due to their own opinion and observations. So they sit there and they go, oh, Patrick Melton told you that I suck at broadcasting. Oh, Anthony Cumia told you my mouth is purple. Remind me when we get to the Opie segment, Dr. Steve did explain on Weird Medicine why Opie's mouth is purple.
Interesting.
And he also gave Opie the solution that Opie did not take. Rocco Orby, 2002, $5. Star is an overused stage name. Strippers need to get back to the classy names like Agnes or Gertrude.
Beulah.
Coming up on the pole, Harriet.
Suck my dick, Beatrice. Rumble Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast. I don't know that I can afford this, but enjoy. Thank you for the $2. Feel free to really just spend money you don't even have on this show. You'll make up for it next month.
You'll get a heart for it.
Yeah, you'll make up for it. That idea you had, it's going to work out. Remember for 2 months, oh no, more money wasted. Wasted my ass, my friend. Being a member on this channel, 2 bonus
I wish
shows.
I could know who she was giving to. I want to know.
Oh, I know.
Who's she super chatting?
Well, that was the thing, because earlier they were talking about how she was sending money to TikTokers to get them to then reciprocate and give her money on her TikTok. And he's like, well, that's not how business works.
Nope. That's like buying drinks.
Right. Yeah. It's like you can't make a living by going out to the bar with your friends. I've tried it. It is not going to work. All right. Without further ado.
Bloody ass. Can I get a little sympathy? Because I got a bloody ass. I'm bleeding generously. Because I got a bloody ass.
All right. So we have a guest that's coming on. This gentleman, King B, it looks like is his name, messaged me and told me a story about playing a gig with Stuttering John back in the 90s after John was the big shot, the Stuttering John band, after they got signed. So I want to welcome to the program. What's up, King B?
Hey, how are you?
So I see you're from the Mike Jolitz show.
Yeah, Mike Jolitz show. We do little between 5 and 10 minute little quick hitter funny news stories.
Awesome. And people can find that on YouTube?
YouTube / at MTR_networks.
Very good. So you played in bands in the tri-state area in the 90s.
Yeah. So I was watching your episode from, I guess it was last week, when he was on with the dude that drove him home.
Nick Greystone of Primal Scream.
There you go. And he's talking about playing in the band, and he's dropping all these names. And as I was watching this, I was getting physically ill. I was angry and mad because of my experience with him.
Okay. And that's why when I read your email, I said, I want you to tell this story, because I could read that email, but it'd be much more interesting. I'm sure Adam will have some questions. All of us have played in bands and played good gigs and shitty gigs, so we know how all this works.
Right.
And your experience was one that we don't hear about very often, where you were actually there to support John's band. You know, John always brags about opening for Ozzy and Crew and everything, but you had the task of opening for the Stuttering John band.
Right. So it was a club called Raw in Queens, New York.
What was it called?
Raw.
And where in Queens?
Bayside.
Okay.
Bayside, Queens.
That's where my grandmother's from.
Oh, it was up on Bell Boulevard, if you know that.
I do. That's also where Ron Jeremy's from.
Oh, I didn't know that. It's a very famous place. So as a up-and-coming band, we were presented with, hey, you could be direct support for Stuttering John. And he had just released his album. So not being Stuttering John fans, or like even I wasn't a fan of Howard Stern, but you kind of look at it as, hey, there should be a lot of people there. Yep. Maybe Howard Stern crew could be there. Maybe we get some recognition. We're definitely it, right? So we're all excited. We go there. We in the promotion, it's going to be Stuttering John. There's going to be a lot of people there. So were
they allowed to use Howard Stern's name in the promotion, like on the flyers and stuff?
No, it was strictly Stuttering John.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But still, at that time, we're talking about like 1994, 1995.
Yeah, 95-ish, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, at that time, I mean, Howard Stern is the king of New York, and everyone knows the whole cast and Stuttering John and stuff. So yeah, you would think that they're going to pack a club pretty easily.
And we figured, an off chance maybe Howard makes an appearance, maybe Baba Booey makes an appearance, somebody, right?
Right.
Did somebody give you that impression that might happen?
Well, the promoter was kind of, the promoter's a dick as well, but he was kind of alluding.
What? A dick promoter? Never heard of such a thing.
Right. That happens in clubs.
Right.
And have you played this club before a bunch? Have you played at Raw before? You know the deal?
That was kind of one of our home bases. So that's another reason why we drew so well there. Not only was it because, Stuttering John was going to be there, but, we were kind of home base, so we drew well there anyway, which is why we were put on as direct support. Yep. Not like, 8 p.m. we go on. We were direct support for Stuttering John's band.
And I should mention that the club didn't have a lot of confidence in John's band. If they hand-selected a band that they know is going to draw, that's what they'll do. They'll be like, well, we know these guys will bring in a crowd. Because if Stuttering John is going to pack the place, they're not going to waste your guys.
Yeah.
Good.
It was either a favor to them or they needed the help and knew you would regularly fill the room.
Right. Good point.
And keep in mind, Raw is it's a small club. We've all been there. It doesn't pack thousands. It's not a theater.
How many you think?
Maybe a few hundred.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So never mind what he was talking about. Oh, I played the Coliseum. He was playing a small club in Bayside, Queens.
I should point out, just a quick aside, he always brags about that Ozzy show that he played. Mm-hmm. That surfaced online. It was an outdoor show that was sparsely attended at the time that John's band was playing, and it was still daylight. And we've all seen those shows where the bill has too many bands and it starts at 5:30 p.m. and no one's going to get there till 9 because the headlining act's at 10.
Just one stage?
Yeah, just the one stage. Yep.
Right.
So the night of the show, we get there and there's a buzz in the air because, again, it's Stuttering John, somebody we've heard on the radio. We're excited. Hopefully we get to meet him. Again, we're all looking for inroads, trying to promote ourselves.
You get there for sound check, right?
Yeah.
And it's middle of the day?
And
early.
Yeah, we can load in and all that. So where the doors are like at, I want to say 7, just say, we're there at 5.
Perfect.
So and we're expecting to Stuttering John to hang out with at least the bands. He's nowhere to be found. The whole night, he's nowhere to be found. We're waiting. The other bands go on, the opening bands go on, and he's nowhere to be found. We go to promoters like, we want to meet Stuttering John. He's like, oh, he's in the back and nobody's allowed to go back there.
No shit.
Yeah. So it's like they had a little backyard area where you could kind of go out, smoke a cigarette, have drinks or whatever, but nobody was allowed back there at that night. So, all right, whatever. So we go on, we play, and again, we packed the house. And sad to say that we had a great show. We went off, and there wasn't a lot of enthusiasm to see Stuttering John, especially since he didn't bother to come into the club and mingle with anybody. So the club kind of emptied out after we left.
Wow.
Not after we left, sorry. After we went off.
After you got done. So John saw himself as a big celebrity. And obviously the club played along with it because it's like, yeah, I don't need anyone back here in my area. And the fact that he can't even go out and like shake hands and thank people for coming out to the show.
Nothing.
I mean, that's the one thing he has as a draw is like, oh, I don't care about his music, but he's going to be there hanging out. I can meet Stuttering John from the radio. And he can't even be bothered with that.
And just to contrast that, if I can drop a name like Stuttering John does, Pete Steele from Typo Negative. We opened for Typo Negative, and then we opened for Carnivore, his band. Before Typo Negative, they did a reunion show. Pete Steele stood on the side of the stage, watched us play. When we got off, he was like, yo, great show. That was awesome. And just hung out and bullshitted with us for, a good half hour while the other band was getting set up. So to contrast that, Stuttering John in the back, nobody can touch him. Nobody can bother him. Leave him alone.
It's not surprising, I guess, but you would think a younger Stuttering John like that would be excited because nowadays he would love to be in a crowd of people that adored him and were interested to see him and talk to him.
Would buy him beers.
Yeah, would buy him beers. He'd be very excited about that. And to think at that time he was in the green room, locked off from everyone else. And I understand that with like big acts.
Right.
I've definitely opened shows for bands that were big national touring bands, and you don't have access to them when you're on the bill. But it's Stuttering John's band, and you guys are the main support.
Right. And so, nowadays, obviously, his star has waned only just a little bit.
Sure.
But, back then, it was still the height of, Howard Stern. So I'm sure his ego was extra inflated. So, he just assumed that everybody was going to be there and love him and want to see him play and all this.
Well,
go ahead. No, I was just, as the club empties out, we figured people are going to, go outside, get some air, come back in as they're setting up. Well, they set up, they're about ready to go on. Very few people come back in. For the most part, who's there in the club is the bands, their girlfriends.
No. Been there.
Friends that are just hanging out and we're drinking. Other than that, it pretty much emptied out.
This is typical of a show with all local bands. The headliner, quote unquote, has the worst attendance.
Yes.
No one wants to be the last band on the show.
That is 100% correct.
Yeah.
You want to go on at 10 p.m., not
you want to be the middle act.
Yeah, right in the pocket.
Yeah.
Right. But you'd figure with Stuttering John, there's some notoriety there. You'd figure people would stay. Nobody cared. Because at that point, again, he didn't bother coming in. Everybody then realized nobody else from the Howard Stern show was there. So I'm not interested in listening to Stuttering John because he's a side character anyway. So a lot of people not a lot of people came back in. His band went on. We're sitting there. We watched his band play. Wasn't
How
good.
were they? Not good?
Not good. No.
What about the rest of the band outside of John? Were they any good?
Well, the musicians were good, but he's trying to be in between songs. He's trying to be hacky and do little bits. And
Do you remember any of them?
No.
We watched concert footage from that time period. I've seen John try to do the shtick in between. That's where "Stutter, you piece of shit"
Yeah.
That famous Cardiff drop. I'm sure you have it on the board over there.
And it's interesting because at that show, it's very much what King B is saying here, which is that even when he does draw people, they're not fans, they're spectators that are going to see what's going to happen. They might end up liking the music, but usually halfway through, they just end up starting to heckle and create their own kind of fun.
Right. Well, at this point, now it's getting late on in the night, and we're all tired, and we're waiting to get paid.
Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going.
Wait, hold on. They played for before you finish, they played for what, 40 minutes, an hour?
Probably an hour, yeah.
Did it get any thinner? Did it stay the way it was?
Well, like I said, it was for the most part, it was the bands. So we all had to stay and wait to get paid.
Yeah.
Our girlfriends and some friends of ours, and the other bands that were drinking. Some left, maybe a couple of others, stragglers that were still outside came in. But for the most part, it was very, very thin.
It's depressing. Yeah. I've been there.
Right. We've all played gigs where there's 12 people in a big kind of area that could hold 300, but there's 12.
Yeah.
That was kind of.
And it's hard for the headliner to play a full set at that point. That's when I look around at the guys. I'm like, let's cut this one. Let's cut that one. There will be no encore.
And could you 12 spread out a little?
Just a little bit, right? And back then, for the most part, the clubs you kind of did the door deal. So they'd ask who you're there to see, and they would mark it down, and you get like $2 per head, whatever it was.
Sure. Yep.
And like I said, we drew the most, so we're expecting whatever it was, a couple $100.
Yep.
So we wait for the night. They go off. They tear down again. Nobody's allowed to talk to them. As soon as they were done, Stuttering John went back out in the back again.
I mean, he's a guitarist. He doesn't even take care of his own amp and shit.
No, he left. He was done. He was gone. The band tore down whatever roadies they had was tearing down. But he was gone.
Grillo.
And so we're waiting. We go up to, usually the promoter will come around and, gather the band members, and we go into the back room and he divvies out the money.
Mm-hmm.
We're waiting. We see him. He's not gathering anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So we go over to him and we're like, yo, what's up? We're ready to get paid. He's like, oh, you guys aren't getting any money. We said, why? He said, oh, well, John demanded the entire door. We were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's...
We were pissed.
Of course, because first off, he doesn't deserve it, obviously.
Right.
But secondly, like, that's not that much money that's going to make or break John's life. That's just a dick move at that point.
Right. But he demanded, and even like the very first band that maybe drew 4 people, whatever it is, get their couple of bucks, got nothing.
Wow.
So we went looking for John.
Let's go.
We don't give a fuck. We went looking for John, and he was gone. By that time, and we forced our way kind of into the back, and he was gone. He hightailed it out of there. So
that's actual audio.
That's actual audio of him leaving the smoke, the dust behind.
The stink lines.
Right.
He didn't even open the door. It's just a soliloquy of John.
It was gone. So as I'm watching that episode that you guys did last week, I'm just sitting there getting angrier and angrier. And I had to reach out, and it was like, how do I message Carl? I go on the website. I was like, I have to tell him this story just as a cathartic episode for me, not even expecting to come on and tell the story, just to get it out and be like, fuck him.
Good.
Here, I'll have fun with the story.
Do you feel better?
We need to find one of the things I got so excited about you when you reached out. We want to find more people like you because when we heard about this high school battle of the bands, I'm like, who else graduated with John that could talk about this high school battle of the bands? I want to know what actually happened here.
You bring up a good point. King B, tell us about the pyrotechnics and the guillotine and all the pig's blood. Can you just tell us what that was like? Was it as amazing as it sounds?
Let me tell you, it was non-existent.
Oh,
okay. Fair enough. Well, at that point, grunge had taken over, Adam. You can't be a tryhard in a grunge band.
Right. And it's funny. I've been to enough. Back in the day, we played and we hung out at Battle of the Bands. Nobody did coffins and pig's blood. You played in a high school gym.
No
Nobody did that. You weren't allowed to do any of that stuff.
You didn't have stage lights. It was just like the regular lighting in the gym. And
earlier in the day, they had a play of like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And then, at night, a couple of metal bands go on, and whatever stage lights they have, that's it. Nobody's doing pyrotechnics in a school.
Can we use this tree?
Everything I think I ended up the email with calling him a garbage human being. And that's exactly what he is in my mind.
I'm surprised the promoter went along with that, because now he's the one who has to like tell you guys, and he's going to reach out to you again for other shows.
So
he's the one who has to tell you like, yeah, John's taking all the money. Sorry.
So
it sounds like that night he wasn't even going to approach you at all.
Well, right. He's trying to just avoid you.
Right. So there's a history with that promoter as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to tell a real quick story. And aside from that,
if you can make it quick, let's go.
Very quick.
But we played a show in the city at Bond Street Cafe. And again, he stiffed us on money. So we found.
Wait, at what street cafe? I'm sorry.
Bond Street Cafe, BOND.
Oh, yeah.
In the city.
Fucking
so
New
we played
Yorkers,
Bond
so
Street
annoying.
Cafe. For whatever reason, he didn't want to pay us. So we found where they stored the liquor and loaded up the back of our amps, our bags, and our jackets because it was winter. And we got paid in Bond Street liquor.
Yeah, I'm sure you got more than you would have gotten in cash then.
I'm sure.
We would have gotten like $50 at that show. We easily bought a couple $100 in liquor out of that price.
That's fantastic.
You see, if this wasn't John, I would be blaming the promoter. I've been John in this situation. I've been a guy with a band who's done some television, and I show up and they're like, here's your green room. We've keeping you sequestered. And you're like, I don't, this is stupid. I feel silly. Like, please don't do this. And they want to please and make a big deal. And it's completely on the promoter to decide who's getting paid what in advance. I can't imagine he would just say to you, oh, the headliner, unless two things. One, this story checks out to the dozen other stories that we've heard just like it. And he probably did enough to piss off the promoter that he was just like, fuck it, I don't care what people think of this guy.
It's very possible. But like you said, Adam, he wasn't really looking to tell us in the first place. We had to go seek him out.
Interesting.
And try to get paid. And that's when he told us John demanded all the door.
Anyone else who's had experiences with John, if you were in the Stuttering John band, perhaps, or if you went to his high school, went to the Battle of the Bands, please reach out.
Bill Titus, Paul Dooley, please give us a call.
Yes, we want to hear these stories. Well, I have big news I want to announce right now. Speaking of John's interview on Primal Scream, Christian Blatt has reached out to him. Now, of course, we know Shuley reached out to him, and we wanted to get him on Point Dabble Point, and Nick said, nah, I don't need to be a part of that. But Christian Blatt interviewed Nick Graysone.
Wow.
And that is premiering tonight on the Blattcast. So check that out at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Wow. Blattcast YouTube channel. And I have a few clips here to wet our whistles for this interview. Now, Christian asked him about his knowledge of Howard Stern. Because, of course, the famous whack packer question.
Oh, yeah.
Which really threw John off. How dare you ask a question like that? So Christian's like, what do you know about Howard Stern?
The other person I wanted to meet was Stuttering John.
Okay. Now, the first question about that, were you a big Stern fan? Obviously, you grew up in New York. I grew up in New York. So long before the rest of the country started to get turned on to this guy, we all knew who he was, going back to when he was on afternoons on WNBC.
WNBC.
So you saw
dude, definitely, man. Like, I listened to the original show. I was a fan of, when he made the transition and everything, and like, not a diehard fan, but definitely respect the guy for what he's done with radio, and he's just a great interviewer.
So I think that answers your question. I don't think he knew a lot about Howard Stern, but he was very excited to hang out with Stuttering John because his buddy, so Nick's buddy, is the one who put on the ChillerCon event. And so we find out that he got to hang out in the same room as John for the whole weekend. And the way that the ride worked out was ChillerCon had to pay for John's transportation and accommodations. And so John said, well, I need a ride back to Long Island. And Nick's buddy who set up the whole thing goes, hey, you got to go back to Long Island when you give John a ride. So that's why, and I'll give John credit for this, when he says Grillo bummed a ride, Grillo wasn't deserving of any transportation. He wasn't part of the event. So it actually kind of makes sense that...
John, we owe you an apology.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Yes, we do. But John did buy
Sorry
and
for
consume
thinking
beer.
John might just want to provide his friend that came with him a ride home after he was helping him carry his boxes of unsold merchandise back to the car. What a fucking asshole Grillo is, right?
Yeah, what a
I don't
piece
think
of
so.
shit. But we did find out all about the ride, and you'll see it in the interview tonight. But Nick talks about how he just wanted to do an interview with John while they were driving in the car, but then they exchanged phone numbers. He decided to hit him up and see if he wanted to come on the podcast, and so John agreed. And Christian asked him about this Battle of the Bands story. It's like, were you buying any of this when he was saying all this crazy shit about this Battle of the Bands? And Nick's like, no, I didn't believe a second of it. And I thought it was an interesting comparison that he has here.
I don't care, dude. It's like Nikki Sixx, dude. Like the way that I never heard of a fucking heroin addict ever keeping a diary, a very detailed diary of that on top of it. So like a lot of people say that his shit is bullshit, but you know what? I've already read 3 of his books about his diary, and I'll continue to do so because I'm a fan. And if John wants to tell me these fucking ridiculous stories about Stiff Minister, I want to hear it, man. What else you got? Good for you, brother. Like, that's awesome.
It's weird that he equates it to Nikki Sixx's book, because I've read that book.
Yeah.
The Heroin Diaries or whatever it's called. And it's fantastic. It's not very detailed. Nikki Sixx wrote like a sentence or 2 every day. So it's not like this long, detailed thing. So I believe that is real, Nikki Sixx's diary. But
Nikki Sixx also died twice.
Right. Yeah.
John did not.
I mean, that's what's so funny that was what he came to in his head. He's just like, oh, all these rock stars make shit up. It's like, no. He was talking about having an Alice Cooper show at his high school Battle of the Bands. It's very different than Nikki Sixx dating Prince's girlfriend and being afraid for his life. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting comparison.
What South Park character does Nick Greystone look like right there? It's definitely definitely a cartoon.
It's their adversary in the World of Warcraft.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. The gamer guy.
Yeah, gamer guy.
Do you think he lives in that car?
I think that car lives around him.
There you go.
He's wearing it. All right. So the question is about Shuli reaching out to Nick and why Nick didn't want to do Shuli's show.
Furthermore, then I was hit up by Shuli to do his podcast, which in turn was going to be, from what I learned,
From John.
a rip fest into him, because I didn't even know that so many people had a disliking for Stuttering John. Dude.
Obviously.
Like, I don't get it. Like, Shuli has a fucking show with a couple of guys, and all they do is criticize everything he's done. Like, I feel like there's fucking mass murderers that don't get this much attention, bro. And like, he must have really did some nasty shit for them to do that. So like, I didn't want to be a part of that.
Oh, I think I realize what's going on here. This guy's been bullied a lot. He's never been on the other side of it where we're just like, no, we're just some good-natured ribbing over here. Just letting people know that they're kind of silly. He's like, I mean, why are you focusing? This is like Stuttering John's argument about like George Clooney's more famous than me. Why aren't you guys paying attention to him? It's like, no. You don't understand. You're uniquely mockable. That's why we do. It's like serial killers are interesting. I do a show about them called The Creep Off, but they're not mockable.
He's also the drinking buddy of the guy that runs ChillerCon. That was told, yeah, man, you can hang out in the green room with the celebrities, do your thing. I might ask you to, run some favors for me. And from all the people there, he had access to and made a connection with Stuttering John, which is what he wanted. He wanted to do something with a celebrity and have it help his podcast. So he does it. He wins. He becomes John's best friend. And now everyone's telling him, this is some bullshit, and you got to stay away from that guy. And he's like, come on.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
This is one more clip, a little bit more on Shuli Agar and the crew.
Yeah, I just, you know what, man, like, I felt like he came at me like it was nice and everything, but I felt like I was also putting myself up on the chopping block because it was buddy. But then I go on there and I started seeing some of the comments people were saying about me. So then I'm like, all right, now I'm going to go on there, and these people are going to fucking massacre me as well as John if I go on to the show, and it's just a no-win situation at that point. And I know my guitarist always says this, there's trolls on the internet, don't engage with them, but I fucking can't help it. Like, I have to.
You know what that means, guys? We got to bully this guy. Everybody bully him. I'm kidding, of course. Nick seems like a very nice guy. He doesn't want to get involved in the Dabbleverse. I understand.
But that's kind of heartbreaking because he doesn't see. He has no self-respect, and he has no idea that what John did to him in that interview was a great example of the things people don't like about him. And if he looked back and watched it, I think he might see that and understand where everyone's coming from.
I mean, you do have to ease in. It takes a minute. You might have to watch the Sheet Shitterson documentary first. But
That's
yes,
true.
I think he would.
It's a
I
good
think he
primer.
would get it eventually. Joe Corson Roy says, "Looks like King B turned on me." Very fun super chat there. All right, King B, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I know you jumped out of work early to be on here with us. I appreciate that. One more time, tell us about the show you do and where people can find that.
Yeah, it's the Mike Jolich Show. We record every Friday. You can get it on YouTube, youtube.com/@MTR_networks. And again, it's like a 5 to 10 minute, really quick hitter, funny news, tidbits, do a little Twitter stuff. So check it out. And if you like, subscribe to the channel, please. And Carl, again, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for reaching out, King B. Great talk to you. I hope more people follow in your footsteps and reach out to us about this.
Yes.
That would be great.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
The great King B, everybody. $5 says, Adam, why did you spit on Carl's diseased foot at Hackamania? Chris saw it and spit in your butt when you weren't looking. Jen's rack. Hi, Carl. Nice head.
To lubricate the foot so it would fit in the butt. Does that not make sense? I mean, it's pretty standard.
None of that makes sense. None of this makes sense. Rumble Trenchcoat, a Colombo podcast with $5 says, I'm still stunned that a promoter could just stand there and let multiple bands play knowing he's not paying them anything. What a piece of garbage.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Yes.
That is not
the worst part is when that band promotes it and puts all the flyers up and gets all their friends and family and fans to come out, and they're not getting shit for all their effort. That's
I've been in
happened many
exactly
times.
John's place at that kind of gig. I mean, I've been on every slot on that bill he talked about. I've been the first of 4. I've been the opener. I've been the headliner. And I remember a time where I was in John's spot, and then we finished, and the opener's like, do you mind if we go back on and keep playing? Because all of our fans are here. Well,
Right.
Yeah, go ahead, man. It's your
That's
night.
cool.
And then we
That's
took all their
right.
money. No, we didn't take their money.
That's nefarious.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, you've been making the rounds lately, and you went on a show called Conspire a Theory Podcast. Now, Conspire a Theory Podcast is hosted by a guy who I thought was my buddy, but I guess I learned something from this. This guy, he goes by Skinny Chad Zumock. He's at Conspire a Theory. Artist. We have some art of his up on the wall.
Very
like
talented artist.
Frosted Tips over here, and the one that he contracted with Cardiff's Kids behind me. We still have to put up on the wall. And so I've met him a few times. We've been to different events, especially DabbleCons. He's come into Rochester and hung out. And so you went on a show, and I know he wants me on a show, and I have to get back to him to get that set up. Or do I? I don't know. After
Well,
we
what were
see
your
these
dealings with him
clips-
like? When you spoke to him, you said, what was that like? How did he seem?
He seemed fine. He's a fan. I remember he was Skinny Blind Mike, and I took my photo with him. And, he was Skinny Stuttering John, right? The first one. And then he was Skinny Chad Zumock. He won the Stuttering John impression contest, I think.
Yeah.
The first DabbleCon. So he very much, he dresses up for these things. He gets into it. He's a participant. And so he DMs me and stuff. And I'm terrible with DM, as I've mentioned many times. But I just assume that he's a big fan of the Dabbleverse and WATP and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What was your impression, Adam?
I don't know. I was surprised to see that he sees himself as what he calls the hatchet man. He's the tough Simon Cowell, ready to deliver the bad news and to have the strong opinions and not care who he takes down, which was just such the opposite of his delivery and demeanor. I had a hard time coming to terms with both of those things as one. But he did have one thing in common with every podcast that I've been doing recently. They all do two things. They explain to me how much hard work goes into making this podcast, especially the research they've done on me, how much they've done, and then they always open with the exact same question. This one.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Conspire Theory. I have with me Adam Busch from the Dabbleverse, and we're going to be dabbling it up a bit. Welcome to the show. Tell me a little bit about yourself before we get running.
I mean,
This is the the 20-year high school reunion. You haven't seen this guy since you graduated.
What have you been up to?
I don't know, man. What have you been up to? Fuck.
And it's just a lot of work. You're just like, here, do the show for me.
Right, yeah. That's a rough way to start.
It is, because you could have done no research and asked the same question.
Exactly.
Correct.
And this next clip is something that is probably just unique to me, and it does happen a little bit. I think people saw it happening in Hackamania. It's just a way of dealing with fandom that I've never quite understood.
That era had so many iconic shows. I was never into Buffy the Vampire Slayer. However, I had friends who were into it, and I would hear about it through them.
Okay, you don't need to say that. You don't need to tell me that you're not a fan of the show. You can just not mention it. It's okay.
I have to pat myself on the back because I'm also not a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. But what I said to Adam was, can I have Allison Hannigan's phone number? It's a better question.
Might be worse. Might actually
Wait,
be worse.
what? What just
so.
happened?
I think it is. I've never, ever in my life walked up to someone and said, hey, were you on the West Wing? Oh, yeah, I was. Never saw it.
Never saw it, but I know it's popular. I know other people have seen it.
But I've heard of it. And I know he means it with a good heart.
Of course.
But it's just an odd thing to say, I think. So with all the research he's done, the question he asked me about Buffy is about the Buffy comic books. Here they are.
Oh, boy.
Ad book or go through a Wizard magazine or a Starlog without seeing some article dedicated to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So it's just another extension of the work that you were involved in with, just showing how wide reaching it is out there. So, is there anything else that you would like to comment on, Buffy wise, before we move on?
What a great question.
You get nothing.
But Adam, I mean, obviously you get residual checks from those comic books, right? Because your character was in them, and
no, I don't. I have nothing to do with them
not.
at all. And by the way, that concludes the Buffy portion of this.
Okay, thank God. All right,
interview.
We can move on. It would have been way better if just like, I never watched Buffy, don't care about it. Anyways, I saw you on WATP. Yeah.
That would be the best. That I would respect.
I got friends who watched it.
I got friends who watched it.
Yeah. I mean, Jew Broad who fights vampires, that's much funnier than anything else. At least that shows an awareness or an opinion, This next clip, he just talks about, podcasting and what that's like for him.
Okay.
Well, one of the things is that when it comes to podcasting, my podcast in particular, I am my own best customer. So I'll produce something that I enjoy watching. I mean, mostly if it's me just looking at my screen saying, hey, look, I'm talking to someone interesting. That's enough. And hopefully that it's enough that other people can enjoy it as well.
I would say no. No, that is not enough.
You don't think that's enough just to impress yourself?
Yeah, to say, hey, look at me, I'm talking to this person, that would be wasting that person's time and yours, I think. That's just my opinion.
Sometimes I look in the mirror and I just like talk to myself and I go, should other people be here witnessing this mirror time that I'm having?
Film that and release it as a podcast.
All right, you can do that. Only on Patreon, though. That's not a freebie one.
Because the problem is, podcast is like stand-up. It's something you can't get better at without an audience, so you
Right.
have to have someone there if interviewing is what you want to do.
And
so
is
now
this an
he go-
interview show? Is this what the format is? Because I apologize, podcast. I'm not familiar. I will
sometimes
get back to you. I will come on.
Sometimes he interviews, sometimes he just talks about things that he likes, but he does have guests on. And he does, I cut a lot of it, but he does talk very much about all the preparation that went into this specific interview. I think like right here.
Not to take away the hard work. I mean, we're not all goofing off 24/7. It is a lot of hard work.
What are some examples of the hard work that went into this podcast that we're doing right now?
I would say learning like what program works best for me, learning how to record. That's the first thing, is learning how to record episodes myself.
Well, that's the first stuff. I'm talking about like this interview. You said you do a lot to make the guest comfortable. You do a lot of research. You do a lot of prep to make it sound good. I was curious examples of that for this particular episode, if you have any.
I put a
I'm
hat
new to
on.
this too.
Well, like I looked up your IMDb. There are some things that I have a series of notes here that, have a bunch of stuff written down that we'll probably get to eventually. But I have, done some research. There's some topics that I would like to talk to you about further, and, general observations and other fun things. It's basically having a plan as far as, what it is that you want to do and where we're going to go with this. And I know that it's sort of, odd that from your end as a guest, you don't see what's behind the curtain.
You're right. I don't see it at all. I don't see any of that.
That's like Patrick Michael level complaining about all the work that goes into.
Oh.
And I started doing that show. I don't want to edit it anymore. It's so much work. Just like, all right, man. No one's forcing you to do this stuff.
This show is going to be 93 minutes long. And,
right. Yeah. Oh yeah, the IMDb, like just going through and just writing down whatever facts he has.
And it cut it there, but he goes right into talking about all the other obligations he has and the books he wants to write and the things he's spinning a lot of plates, he said. So it's tough for him to just focus on this elective project, alone.
Sure,
Give it
yes.
enough time.
That's the problem with my hobbies too. I just, I can't devote any time to them.
I asked him about his namesake. I asked him what he thinks about Chad Zumock.
Right.
Are you a fan of Chad Zumock? Do you watch his show?
Not really. It was just a quick gimmick that I could put together that I did. I mean, as far as now with him, Chad versus KB, of course, naturally I'm going to say, go Chad. When he does a good thing here and there, I have no problem cheering him on. I'd love to get on his show sometime and talk, and trash Carl and stuff like that.
But what just happened there?
Yeah. And you notice that all his feelings about people are about whether they've had him on their shows or not.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's the defining characteristic of all of these enemies.
I will give him credit. At least he's coming to Chad with a topic. He's not just like, hey, Chad, have me on your show. He's just like, hey, on your show, I'd love to trash Carl. Like, that is a good way to get on to Chad Zumock show right there.
That will get you some mileage in the Dabbleverse.
Sure.
You can get a couple bookings.
It's a good move right there. Well, I hope he gets that slot.
But since he's the hatchet man and he's the killer, he starts to turn it on me. And he explains to me why I just don't work on WATP.
Oh, good. Chris, get the notepad out. I want to see get some reasons here.
And you keep turning on the conversation to me to ask and get to know me, which I, of course, fall into because, maybe I'm vain. But aside from that, I would liken you, because I've had criticisms of you as well. I at first I felt that you were sort of overstaying your welcome. And then I think it was one episode in particular where Carl was doing the H3 analysis, and then he just threw the ball to you, and I'm like, oh, okay, this segment feels like you're just bearing the weight to carry a segment, because the H3 stuff, I get it, it's content, but I do not care. It's not stuff that I'm interested in.
That's very interesting right there. He goes, well, I don't like you on WATP, and I didn't know why you were there until I realized that you're there to talk about shit that I don't care about. which H3, if you're into internet lore and drama, is been the most interesting story. We've covered it a little bit. We could have covered it a lot more. Him and Hassan Piker and all the other shit with iDubbbz and everything's been going on with that whole clan has been kind of the most important stuff going on in that internet world for the last 2 months or so. And we've barely covered it.
I think once or twice most, yeah.
Yeah, and Skinny Chad just like, yeah, I don't know why you guys are covering H3.
What does that have to do with me? What does that have to do with me, though?
Well, because at one point I go, Adam, what do you think about this H3 character, Ethan Klein? And I guess you had an opinion on it. And he's just like, oh, no, Adam's talking about it too. I don't even care about this. Right? That's my interpretation of that answer.
I really don't know. I don't know what he meant by that. That's the best case scenario, is that I just weighed in on a topic he didn't want to see. So
I think that's what he was explaining right there. It's also a criticism of our show, obviously, because we were covering something that he didn't care about. Yes. And that is on me to make people care about things. You might notice, Chad makes fun of me for setting things up. Yeah. I try to give you a reason to care about shit that I'm going to talk about. That Karmic X, I worked extra hard. Guys, there's a payoff. I swear to God. I got to pay attention to Karmic. Speaking of Karmic X, and I'm just going to get off on the side real quick. Don't normally do this, but I'll forget if I don't say it now. Karmic X is now set up on the Super Tip system. You can get it. You can support us on supertip.gg/WATP. He got that set up faster than anyone else ever. In less than a day, he was up and running, had it all figured out and set up with his Stripe account and working on his OBS and was using that in his show. And I was like, wow, I thought this guy was just like a drunk fuck up who's just blowing lines and drinking whiskey. But not only did he do that, he's also not drinking anymore.
Oh.
So I've lost all interest in this guy.
Okay.
But you guys tell me he was interesting again, because he's like streaming all the time and I've tuned in a few times. It's just like, damn it. He was funny when he was wasted, but
I hear he's going back to finance.
Oh yeah?
No, it's now that he's sober, he'll be like, what the fuck have I been doing? I'm not a podcaster.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Why am I talking to Kevin Brennan? What have I done?
He's like, I was complaining about the corporate world. What the fuck? What's wrong with me?
They were paying me.
All right, this next clip, and it's a longer clip, but you asked me to go ahead and speed it up a little bit.
I listen to all this stuff at a much higher speed, so I do feel bad when we watch it slow. But I pushed back a little bit because I didn't understand his criticisms of me, so I asked him for some clarification, and he's off and running.
All right, so I did speed this up.
Where Phil Elmore was in the scene, he broke down the Dabbleverse for the general audience, for regular people. And I love his show because I love the character of John and for his behaviors and stuff. And in a sense, he sort of represents, I don't know if it's called either the id or the super ego, but I see in John the worst parts of myself. And that's why I feel like it's a sort of human despisement that that's what, in some essence, that he represents when he makes those decisions. And it's like I'll give you an example. One time, John was complaining about how he had his kids over and they wanted to go watch a movie. And he's like, oh, I don't want to do it because I have to take a shower because I stink. And then me being someone who, if I go a day without taking a shower, I'm like, oh God, I feel horrible. And it just takes 15 minutes to take a shower, and then the kids and all them, they get to have a blast. It's that potential, that lost potential for, missing out on life that I see there that keeps me coming back. And I feel that what you do sometimes is you do help break down the stuff for the rest of us. And I feel that Phil Elmore was unjustly, I guess, expelled from the Dabbleverse. And a lot of the surrounding characters just did not like him because he wasn't a fan of Stern. And I guess he just didn't have the chops that they felt that he did. And I felt that he was unfairly treated that way. So I have a lot of empathy for him in that sense. And with that, from what I've observed from you, is that you do a lot of you again break this down for general stuff. I don't know if it's the way that you generally analyze stuff, and it makes it palatable for me, because I knew of Stern through watching Entertainment Tonight and his antics through that. That was my only window. I had no idea who Stuttering John was. I was introduced to him through Carl, and then I later learned that he was a thing. I guess he must have always been a thing. Uh-oh.
No, I'm here. Was that a question? What was the question? Is Stuttering John a thing?
I guess we had a little hiccup there. Sorry.
No, I'm with you. I didn't understand what the question was. Was Stuttering John a thing?
I wasn't. I was just making a statement. I wasn't asking a question.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
Yeah,
no.
I have a question.
Okay. Yeah. I understand. As I said, as I previously established.
Now, I have to tell you, Adam, you're brilliant at this, and I need to be better. I need to do more. Excuse me. I need to do more shows. But what you do better than anyone is you are so comfortable in silence. You have no problem with that at all. And most people are not. And you can just ramble for 3.5 minutes. And when you stop talking, the other person will pick right up.
Because I'm listening to him. I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm giving him my full attention. I asked him a question he didn't answer. I'm following his points. He said he wanted this to be a conversation. And anytime I ask him a question, he seems very put upon, like I'm being, how dare I? And then he just won't answer any of mine. So at some point in this next clip, I start to wonder what I'm doing there.
But before I play that clip, I just want to point out, it sounded like, at first he was saying he didn't like you on WATP,
Right.
but now it sounds like he's saying you're actually bringing in an interesting voice like Phil Elmore did a year or two ago, that is like an outsider coming in and interpreting this from an outsider perspective.
Yeah.
So I guess he likes you now?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I can't tell you.
It sounds to me like he had Adam on to air his grievances about the Dabbleverse.
Yes.
Wow. That's a very good conclusion
Very,
as we're gonna see. But yes, this
Very accurate.
this next clip is fantastic.
But I just want to have you know that any of my grievances for Carl are reserved for Carl, that I will discuss with Carl. But I,
don't
have
mind,
no
and I don't
animosity
feel any
towards
obligation
you.
to.
This is not a hostile environment for you.
No, I don't think it's hostile environment. I think you have a lot of things that you wanted to say at me or near me or to me, but they're not questions. They're just kind of opinions you wanted me to know that you have, and I know that you have them, and I agree with almost all of them. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do with them. Do you need me here, or is it just because you could have just sent me a video of you telling me these things?
No, I wanted a conversation because I like talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fantastic. Should I go now, or are we okay? No, you got to keep talking at me. We can do that.
You do see how Caleb probably started maybe a little bit like this, and then by however many episodes he's done, he's just like, "Fuck you!"
Yeah. Lindsay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What the hell is this?
Oh my
But I'm
gosh! Yeah,
trying.
we got to watch Adam a year from now going on podcasts compared to this and see how that works out.
So I'm starting to think his issues really aren't with me. Perhaps they have to do with you. So
Okay.
I ask him about that.
I've reached out to Carl. Have you? Sometimes stuff is just fun, you know.
What's he doing there with the mouse?
Nope.
Okay. Have you heard of the hamburger pants saga?
No.
Okay, it's a long
Sad no.
story, but I'll. This is the time that, but it perfectly encapsulates what frustrates me about Carl, and it's really not.
Does
his
the story
fault.
involve Carl?
Yes.
Okay.
It directly involves him. It's pretty much,
Great.
it concludes, it's why it illustrates why I have to destroy Carl.
Oh.
And it's not that, and in the story you'll see that I probably in a sense already have. And,
You destroyed him?
Absolutely.
Is he still with us?
Boston's canceled, everyone. Fuck. Refunds will be. What just happened?
I don't know.
He has to destroy me, and he probably already has.
But you see, I'm committed. I'm here.
Yes.
I've watched a few episodes. I've blocked out this time. I'm focused on him. I have no distractions, and I'm not understanding what's happening. I have to consider
I need you to understand what's happening.
that
'Cause I don't
he's
understand
serious.
what's happening.
I have to consider the fact that he might be real, right?
Okay,
He's
yeah.
talking about taking people down, and I don't see the joke outside of the hat, so maybe he's not kidding. I don't know. Can he
All right.
explain this pants story for us?
Yeah. What is the reason? This clip I did speed up a little bit as well.
Good.
I had gifted Carl a pair of novelty hamburger print pants. I sent them to him, and he said, and I asked, hey, Carl, you going to put these on? And he's like, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. Lasted about almost a year, and I would nail it. I'd get on his case, and during that time, I would just grow more and more frustrated. And then it's like, it's because he would say he'd get to it. He wouldn't say no, but he would fill me with what I felt at the time was this false hope. And I felt like I was being led on, So of course, naturally, I escalated. I had to, this is probably what makes me, I would argue, Carl's most dangerous adversary. And I had to escalate. So what I did is, when I got tired of doing super chats, basically begging him to put on the hamburger pants because I'm obviously a visual. The visual joke is how I express myself through visual humor, the sight gag. So Carl in the hamburger pants, that would be an expression of that, the ultimate expression of that, because his name is Carl Hamburger. So the funniest thing in the world would be for him to wear hamburger pants.
Who's it funny for? For him?
Yeah, for him.
For me? These pants were so they're elastic waistband, like cheap pajama pants, double XL.
Yeah.
They're ginormous. They don't fit me even close.
They were for you?
I didn't ask for them. I never asked anyone for pants. If you listen to the intro of the show, I say we have a P.O. box, send drugs, send Lucy type box dildos. We go through the list of things we enjoy here. It's never pants.
You know sorry.
Well, I guess I'll explain it to him. I don't.
Yeah.
We won't go through the whole explanation here. I got to go on his show and talk to him about this. But apparently, I was obligated to put on these pants that make me look ridiculous, and then he was mad because I didn't do it in a timely manner.
That's right. And I think there's a name for men who send internet celebrities articles of clothing that they really want to see them wear.
Oh.
And that get very, very offended when those subjects don't wear what they sent them.
What is it? I don't know the name for that. What is it?
They're internet predators. They prey on women and they prey on internet stars. And this is a pseudo-sexual dominating thing that they need to see.
I do feel bad when someone sends me something that they need something for me to do. You know what I mean?
Put it on. Now take it off.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I just I appreciate it. Hunter Duke gave me, that really cool Hawaiian shirt that says "Who are these podcasts" on it with the logos, and
that's really cool.
I wear that.
It says "Kick me" on the back.
You didn't know.
Oops. But yeah, I mean, those aren't pants that I would have picked out or wanted to wear, and so
You ever see those girls on the Instagram? They're like, "Thank you so much for the, whatever it was. I'm wearing it right now." Like, that's not necessarily the most healthy relationship.
No, I believe parasocial is the word.
That's the word.
That's the word that you would use for this.
And I think that is demonstrated, very clearly in this next clip when I ask adult to adult, what can Carl do to make things right?
Yes, so I don't get destroyed.
Just out of curiosity, not that he's going to or that you would even welcome it, what could he do to make it up to you? That would change everything and make you go, you know what? That guy's all right.
Well, I asked him to come on my show just so we could talk about stuff, as you have. And as far as him making things right, who knows? I mean, because it's like I do enjoy being an antagonist.
So nothing. And it's really just about you.
Okay. Am I having fun?
You're asking me if you're having fun?
Is he antagonizing?
I guess he's my arch nemesis, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Nope.
If someone would have asked Duke from G.I. Joe, like, hey, how do we become friends with Cobra? I guess the answer would be like, I don't think that's possible. Cobra's the bad guys. We're the good guys. I think that's what's happening here.
There's a good chance it's all a bit. He's just taking the piss, so I try and go down that road with him.
I feel that he has to answer for. Oh. And as much as you can speak, I appreciate it, but unfortunately it's not your place to do so.
So then why did you tell me about it and ask my opinion on it?
Because it was fun.
I see. Right. So when other people do things, it's to antagonize and personally hurt you. And when you do it, it's fun. Maybe he thought it was fun to not wear the pants as much as you thought it was fun for him to wear them. Maybe he just didn't want to wear clothes sent by a fan because he felt like that sets a really creepy precedent.
And then when I finally did take a photo wearing the fucking pants, it's all over the goddamn internet.
There's that.
Thanks a lot, asshole.
He fell for it.
I know, right? Exactly. Like, okay, thanks. Thanks, Dick. Appreciate it.
Took a year, but...
Oh, God. You really know how to ask the right questions that these people do not know how to answer.
No,
it's
but
amazing.
They're so comfortable accusing everyone of just everything. And it really is like, if I can't control you, I have no use for you. Here, in this next clip,
I've done so much to this guy, apparently. It's amazing because I've put zero effort into doing anything to this gentleman.
That's how good you are at it.
And I know people are going to say, or he might say, these are isolated clips. This is not the full thing. The full thing is up there. I encourage everyone.
Go check it out.
Go give him some numbers. Watch the full interview. I try at length 3 separate times to explain stories in my life where I had interactions with fans that felt a little misguided or delusional, and nothing would land. Nothing registered with him. So this next clip is called Taking No for an Answer.
It's sometimes I feel like, as much as I do try to feel a role in the Stabbleverse. And
the role
one
of the
of
hatchet,
them,
of the killer, or the...
Perhaps that could be it, because it's what I'm most naturally prone to.
So why isn't Carl allowed to have his natural reaction to things? Why is it only you that gets to decide what's funny and what's real and what hurts people's feelings and where that line
At any time, he could have said no.
Well, I think you did.
Yeah, and it hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
It just seems like you didn't accept it.
Kind of trailed off there, Skinny.
I love people who give me obligations, as if I'm looking for more obligations in my life. Guys, please send me things with instructions on how I'm supposed to use them and when I have to repay you for it.
I don't like when I get a gift I have to assemble. I feel
right. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, exactly.
But he explains it's not just him. Tom Myers is also a victim of this Dabbleverse.
Oh, well, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've been following a lot of Tom Myers, and I do feel like he's a victim of the Dabbleverse, that he doesn't really deserve to be here, but he is here, and that's something I'll talk to Carl if he agrees to appear on the show.
You see, again, you expressing anything other than hate for someone has requirements on that person that they don't even know about.
Yeah,
I'm rubber, you're glue.
I kind of want to say it's not hate, it's animosity, but
whatever you want to call it.
But I guess I can understand. I guess so. Then I guess is it the point that I should. I guess the conclusion that what is your goal
in 5 years? Or?
Yeah, right. Where do you see yourself?
I don't know if he definitely didn't answer the question. I don't know if he processed it at all.
No, he tried. You saw that for a while. The gears were turning there.
And for those who just listen, it's really worth watching him sit there in silence for that long, watching somebody think that hard. I find it fascinating.
But
I do answer. Sorry.
Over an hour and a half, this interview that you did on Conspire a Theory podcast. Go check it out. Go watch the full video.
Yeah.
Leave comments.
It's the only way to get it done.
Star talking to Caleb. She's like, oh, I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah, right. Oh, I didn't know you were going to throw the stuff that I said back in my face. Oh, you didn't?
I don't know how to feel.
Yes, that's what we're doing on this show.
But I don't take the same tact. I answer all of his questions, and he asked me what is my goal, and I tell him what I think I can do.
All right.
But that's interesting that he thinks Tom Myers is a victim and doesn't deserve to be here. I don't know if you elaborated on that at all. Does
No.
he know that? No, okay.
There's two. I dropped the ball. Anybody who sees the interview, I dropped the ball in 2 ways. I didn't pick up on the Tom Myers stuff, and you're going to hate me for this one.
No.
He mentions twice being a brony, and I do not follow up on that.
I don't care.
That's unforgivable.
I
gotta know.
I don't think so. That's fine.
Really?
Don't beat yourself up.
Don't beat yourself up for that. I'm not.
Well, I don't feel too bad, but that's a wasted opportunity. I want to know more about that brony relationship.
Oh,
well, actually, no, that works out well because now I have something to talk to him about. Aside from how he's destroyed me. And how what was he called? The saga of the pants? The hamburger pants? I don't know. You know about the hamburger pants saga, right? Yeah, I'm just like.
The way he was surprised that I didn't the pants. Yeah, Carl's always talking about that.
Yep. All right, last clip here.
There was no goal coming in here other than I'm going to receive what you're giving to me, and respond in kind. And what we found is that so far, most people do not care for that. It's supposed to be a one-way thing where you receive and you take it. And that is the only relationship that the host is comfortable in. And they maybe believe or are simply lying that they have questions they want answered. And there's no questions they want answered. There's statements that they want validated. And if I'm not willing to do that, there's really nowhere else to go.
Yeah, I agree.
Wow.
Okay.
And I guess we'll just go ahead and wrap it up here then.
Oh, there you go. What was your goal for this? I don't know, man. You're the one that asked me to come on the show, and I thought you'd have some questions for me. We'd have a conversation.
The most eloquent way to say, let's cut to the chase here.
Yeah. And I left, quickly after that because he made it clear we were done.
Yep.
And he seemed shocked when I left and made a lot of comments that I ran off before he could give my plugs. Chad, that video's been up there for 7 days. It has 50 views.
Uh-oh.
About 4 of them are us. I'm good with the plugs, man. Thank you. I'm good.
Well, we'll get some more views for you over there, Adam. You promoting your appearance. That's not normally how that works, but...
No, but it was an obligation. And I think Chad has a good heart, and I appreciate what he's doing. Just don't waste people's time. Go back to talking about The Last of Us and your games and, people...
I'll talk about Last of Us with him if I go on there.
Great, and ask about the
I'm watching
Brodies.
the new season. And the Brodies, yes. All right, good. Now we have some things to talk about, so we can get the pants thing out of the way quick and have a conversation about real stuff. Guy stuff. Adam, thank you. You're continuing on this trek of going on shows. I know you're on Hughesy's show. You've been busy since you got back from Vegas. Holy shit.
Yeah.
You've been
There's
making
a
the
lot
rounds.
going
I saw you on with Shuey last night. Of course, you came on with us yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing everyone's shows right now. It's amazing. It's great.
Well, we review podcasts. People seem to have a lot of preconceived notions because you've been doing this for so long, and I want people to know that my opinions are my own. They're not swayed by anybody, and I'm not just going by the clips that are.
And I hate
pre-pulled.
that about you.
I know you
I
do.
really do. It's so annoying.
Stick to the script, asshole.
Right. Sorry.
This is the Agree with Carl show. You didn't get the fucking memo on that? What's your problem?
Oh, and it's really great because I did call him about. I called out some of the lack of prep. He posted a picture of him with his notes and a Busch beer. For
That'll
us to
show
see
ya.
that he had notes. Somebody came to Hackamania with a DVD of this movie I had done called All American Orgy. That is very... Yeah. And I just couldn't believe he had this unknown film. And we took pictures and we talked and we laughed and I signed it. We called his friends. Like, I was so excited. I called the director of the film to tell him, you're never going to believe with this guy. If you're genuinely interested in any of these topics, I would love to talk to you about it. But you were on Buffy. Go.
Right, yeah, not so much.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not a big fan of Buffy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's not a good way to lead it.
Good way to start. All right, we still have Steel Toe. We still have Opie Radio to get to. We're doing the Steel Toe's roast video that he created just for Hackamania. Big surprise that they unveiled during Biggest Problem in the Universe. I want to go through that with you guys. And Opie still... We played a bit of Opie where he's just walking through Central Park and yelling at Asian people.
Yes.
I have an update on that I can't wait to tell you about.
Has the
But
Asian
first-
community responded?
Nope. First, I want to thank the people who are here supporting the show, especially those who go to supertip.gg/WATP. It's a great way to participate and support Who Are These Podcasts every Wednesday. And look who it is. KJ, one of our greatest supporters, $50. Thank you very much, KJ. I love that Adam is doing the meta Who Are These Podcasts inside the Dabbleverse. We speak your name.
Thank you, KJ. That means a lot.
Yes, thank you, KJ. And of course, we'll see you in Boston. We'll all be there.
Fantastic.
All of us are making the trek to Boston for the live show. WTBlive.com for tickets. June 21st.
Yo, my wiggers. Adam, rub my wife's coochie to that awful song Cardiff wrote.
Oh, yeah. Cardiff song was one of the highlights.
So damn sexy.
One of the highlights of Hackamania.
That was amazing.
I know.
Oh, boy. All right. What's going on in the super chat here? Nick is smart to stay out of this nonsense. Tony Baloney. I don't know if we got to that one or not. Do we play this one? I'm still stunned that a promoter could just stand there. Yeah, okay. Carl, will Cumia invite you on WABC? Not about Dabbleverse. You would be good just riffing like him and Jimmy. You're a funny broadcaster. Go on with it. Well, I'd have to invite myself if I don't get the invite. I don't know. That doesn't seem cool. But yeah, I'd love to do that. Packers. I have to watch my language. The last time I was on terrestrial radio.
Right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. I said shitty podcasts. And they went, whoa,
cha-ching.
Fucking like, God damn it.
They don't like that.
I got to be better about that. Rocco Orby. Adam, has Carl asked you where Allison Hannigan keeps her Bandcamp flute?
I mean, pretty much. He's pretty much asked me that.
I said so I could smell it. I don't care where she keeps it.
I did get a big celebrity follow today, though.
Ooh, do tell.
Ray DeVito.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is that why you asked if he's sleeping on the floor when we go to Boston at our Airbnb?
Yeah.
Carson Calloway. Some cake for the chipper. I'm not going to do that thing. Ham had $5. Carl, ever worried that you are also currently being bushed by some way by Adam? Oh, shit. Hope you did your integrity verification with him. Stay alert. Wait a second. I feel like Chad at the end of the show. Wait, is he clowning me to my face? Am I getting trolled right now? Hold on a second. I don't think I am. I mean, I'm not. I can't be.
I suppose we should wrap this up now.
But that's what's so funny is that Chad and a lot of these people, Skinny Chad, they've seen this. They've watched these interviews with other people, and they go, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
This one's going to be different. I'm different. I'm smart. I know how to handle this.
You know what, Adam?
I love it.
Here's where you're wrong. They don't watch the other interviews with other people.
Oh, really? That's just my fantasy.
I mean, you heard him say he looked at your IMDb page. He didn't say, yeah, I saw you with Zumock. I saw you with Jake Hudson. I watched you.
He did ask me, which everyone asks me now, and it wasn't one of the clips, but he did say, are you going to take this back to Carl so he can tee-hee-hee, ha-ha, that's a direct quote, tee-hee-hee, ha-ha-ha over all of this content? And I said, I don't know. We'll see if it's interesting, which is the truth.
If it's interesting, we definitely will do it. Stewie felt $2 says, what's Chad's age? He seems like a teenage boomer. That's hard to tell with him.
Yeah, it really is.
I wouldn't know. Queefer Stutterlin, we all see ourselves as Adam, but we're actually Quad.
No, don't say that about yourself. We like you guys.
Beef Drippins. I'm late. Blind Mike and Luis J. Gomez versus KB. Versus KB? Gay. I got to give props to Blind Mike. If you watched his most recent Blind Mike project, he did a whole thing about Kevin Brennan versus Luis J. Gomez, and Luis was in the chat actively super chatting him about it, which was great. Very cool to see. So he was like responding in real time to the clips they were playing, what they were talking about. Michael P. I went to Flying Bison to hang with KH and PC. What do you think he's trying to say here? With my wife? Watching with something. I went to Flying Bison to hang with KH and PC and ended up liking your music too. I didn't like Buffy after they graduated high school. Yep. But now an AB fan. Thank you all. R.I.P. Tara.
That's a Buffy reference that a lot of people put here on the show, and it does show more of an awareness of the show than Chad had.
There you go. Very good.
Go Bills.
My wife says that you saved the show when you came on and were a main character in, season 6 or so? She said it was starting to get a little bit too serious, and then you brought some levity.
Go.
Stewie felt $2. Dude is giving big Mark David Chapman vibes. Maybe I should be scared.
Wear the pants, Carl.
I know, right?
Wear the pants.
Michael P. says, I was voice texting. I'm not SJ drunk. Go Bills. Go Bills, Michael P. We got the gist. Thanks for coming out to the show. And sometimes the ice ups will surprise you when you don't know what to expect. Drunko Greg says, Adam, when you break after spending so much time undercover, how will you break? On a scale of Homeland, we talking Claire Danes or Damian Lewis?
I don't know the Homeland scale, but it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good.
Oh, boy. Well, watch for that.
Yeah, it'll make great content, but it'll be the last video I make.
Could be in Boston, actually.
I hope so.
Goat Mouth. Geez, Carl. I like how we're the creeps for sending you clothes the wrong size when you never tell us your measurements. Hypocrites!
I like how everyone thinks you're fat.
Red 473. I came here for the comedy, not the horror, Carl. The subject matter haven't been this dark since shit in the sheets. It is getting rough around here.
Probably my fault.
Troy Smith, Adam, I'll be booking guests soon. Please stand by.
Nice.
Troy's one of the good ones.
Oh, is he? What's his show?
Oh, yeah. Does he do a podcast?
It's called
I've seen him.
TBA.
I've seen him on Harrison Young.
Yeah.
Is he booking guests for Harrison? Because we can do that. That'd be fun.
You should get on Harrison Young.
Yep.
We all should.
He's obsessed with me connecting him with Sarah Silverman because he says he's related to her.
His cousin, yeah.
And I know her. So almost once a week I get a message on
Is
line.
that true?
Yeah. He harasses me about it.
I didn't know that you were in contact with Harrison Young. We got to reach out to him when we're in Boston and meet up with him.
Oh, okay. I want to go do a show in person when we do that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay,
I would love to
great.
do that as well. All right, cool.
That was the only holdup is that I wanted to be in the studio with him where he plays the song on the thing. I didn't want to Zoom, so that'd be great.
I just want to play the baseball game with him.
I know. It's a one-person game. You got to be a spectator.
I just want to watch.
I know. You just
He's
got to
the
watch him.
undefeated champion.
Well.
Don $2 says, I don't care what everyone says. Adam rules.
They do.
See what he did there?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of mean, actually, now that I think about it.
All
right. I want to talk about our favorite beggy monster.
Please, guys, Streamlabs, PayPal, Super Chats, Rumble Rants, Venmo. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we don't deserve it.
So I came on Biggest Problem in the Universe when we were at Hackamania, Friday night of the event. And I came on to give my biggest problem, which was cry bullies, because Vito Giswaldi has been antagonizing a couple of friends of the show and then made it everyone else's problem that they were threatening him with things. And this continued on throughout the entire weekend, by the way, with Vito. And then Tony from Hack the Movies reached out. He's like, you should see the text thread from him that I got over the weekend while you guys were at Hackamania. I felt like I was there too. So Vito did a thing. He goes, Carl, stay up on stage after I presented my problem. Stay up here. I want to show you something. He had reached out to one Aaron Imholte, who, of course, this was a big event for Steel Toe because we had this little piggy with Nick Ricada and Paul Shea both on the show and revealing some information that was pretty wild, pretty depressing, actually, but also hilarious when you realize that Aaron's just a piece of shit and deserves all of this. But we were not ready for this. Here comes Aaron up on the big screen, ready to roast us all. And this is what he sent in. Have you seen this yet, Adam?
No, I don't think I have.
All right. This will be exciting. I guess this is his old intro, or maybe it's his new intro. I don't know.
Oh my God! Hey, hi, Hackamania. How you guys doing? Go ahead. No, I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
All right, so right out of the gate, he's just like, wow, this is a big surprise. Everyone's going to get a big pop. Everyone's going to be going nuts for this. I don't know what reaction he's expecting to have happen here, but it is smart to give this some space and, you know, let people yell things out or whatever before you start your hilarious roast.
I heard women were just ripping their shirts off.
Oh, no.
No?
No, that wasn't the case at all. Although Mary Beth would have, she would have won the fucking butter eating contest.
You gotta let it go.
I won't. I can't.
You know, I have to say, if anyone else would have asked me to be here, I wouldn't have done it. But it turns out that Vito and I are both part of the same file sharing group, and he threatened to expose me. So here I am. I hope you guys...
All right, a little self-deprecating humor to start off. Very good. We're off to a good start here.
Guys are having a great time. I bet you I'm the last guy you expected to see.
We actually saw a lot of you this weekend.
Yeah, a little too much.
Yeah.
I mean, what an event. You guys are in Las Vegas, pretending that you go outside often. I love it. Who's all out there? I think Patrick's got to be there, right? Patrick Melton. You know, I brought a gift. I brought a gift for everybody there, and I brought a gift for Patrick Melton. Would you guys like to see the gift that I brought for Patrick? I brought family pictures that nobody has seen before today. Now,
the way he's acting this out, and I understand it's a tough spot to be like, this is going to be played in front of a live audience. And so this is how he's practicing this in front of the mirror for the roast, where he's just like, all right, hold for applause. All right, people are going to be kind of, all right, guys, I know it's crazy what you're about to see right here. Oh, he's doing the whole thing. He's always in broadcaster mode, but this is somehow more obnoxious than usual.
I brought family pictures that nobody has seen before today. Now, I didn't ask Patrick for permission before I did this, but I wanted it to be a surprise. Vito didn't tell anybody either. I have family photos. You know what? Let's just take a look at them. The first one I have is of Patrick Melton's wife, the love of his life. You know, a lot of people call Patrick terrible names, morbidly obese, dead before 50, Is
that a name, dead before 50?
I don't know what he's talking about.
A lot of people call him names morbidly obese, dead before 50. It's not well written so far, but all right, I'll give him he's building up to something.
The love of his life. You know, a lot of people call Patrick terrible names, morbidly obese, dead before 50, pedophile. I'm not saying they're untrue. I'm just saying people say that. But there's another side to Patrick, and that other side is his family, and it starts with his beautiful wife. Can we just put the picture up there of Patrick's wife, please? There she is. Oh, goo goo gaga indeed. That's, look.
So a lot of people didn't get this joke. I did because I know what Aaron's angle is here. But I think it was like Dick Masters was just like, is that a baby picture of Melton's wife?
Right.
It's like, no, the joke is that he's a PDF file, so he would marry a baby. Because that's what PDF files do. They marry babies.
It is a good-looking baby. I mean, come on.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I'm feeling violent. Like, I'm starting to wonder if anybody's ever punched him in the face, and I feel like it hasn't happened, and it needs to.
Oh, there's a video of his boxing matches. Boy, does he get punched in the face.
Oh, good.
Doesn't get out of the first round. So if you want to watch him get punched, and after this video you might want to, we could pull that up.
Oh.
But he's been saying this for quite some time. He's been accusing Patrick of being a guy who's into children or kid diddle or whatever, which is a very serious accusation to make. Mm-hmm. So is this like fun, jokey things to call someone a pedophile? Or is it like a serious accusation that you're letting people know, like, oh, no, this is a scumbag that no one should be associating with? Because this makes it seem like he's having a little bit too much fun with an accusation like that.
And when you actually start providing him with pictures of kids that he knows, what are you doing? What if you're right? Then what are you doing? Have you not learned anything from sending pictures over the internet? Just stop.
Well, hold on a second. You're assuming he knows who this kid is, or someone knows who this kid is? I think it's just a random baby.
But he's implying that. Do you know what I mean?
I don't. What do you mean?
You said he's implying that this is his wife when she was younger?
See, okay, you're not getting the joke either.
Okay, I'm not.
He's saying this is a current photo of Melton's wife. That's how bad this joke is.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now it's even worse.
Right, right.
Much
You're
worse.
accusing him of being that, and then you're sending him exactly what he wants.
But this is why it doesn't work. Because it's like this serious thing, because these guys like have this animosity, and it's like, oh, well, I have proof that he's a PDF file. We have all this evidence and all this stuff. And then it's like the first joke out of the gate is like he married a toddler.
Yeah.
Typical Aaron. Nothing works.
I even tried to explain it to you, and you still didn't understand. Because Dick did the same thing. He's just like, I don't get it. Is that his wife, or what are we doing here?
There's also certain topics that just don't lend themselves immediately to humor when it's going to be like your first bit. Like, there's a way to talk about dead dogs. I guess that's funny, but even me
Yeah.
just saying it now is a real bummer.
Yeah,
like,
probably
you don't,
not.
you don't want to
Right.
lead with that. Why would you? It just like breaks my heart automatically. I don't need even context. But this guy, he's the expert. He's going to show us how it's done.
He also fucked up comedically there because he did the rule of threes. People call you a lot of names like morbidly obese, dead before 50, and pedophile. So he's already like established that, and then puts this joke, which is the same joke. Or did he need to explain that he's a PDF file and then show it in order for it to work? Maybe that's what he thought.
Either way, he bogs it down with a lot of words, which you know is the key to a good joke.
The setup took a long time to get there, but let's see what else he's got.
Goo goo gaga indeed. That's look, I don't want to keep her up there for too long. Everybody's got a right to privacy. And plus, I have more. Let's take a look at this one, shall we? I have a never before seen photo of Patrick Melton and his father. That's right. Patrick Melton and his dad. Would you guys like to see it? I bet you would. I bet you would. Put it up there. Patrick Melton and his dad together. Oh.
He doesn't know how to deliver these jokes. Would you guys like to see that? I bet you would. It's got the energy of a clown at a children's party.
Yeah, it felt like that.
You know, he's like, oh, what kind of animal do you think you want me to make? You want a dog? Huh? It's like, dude, all right, man, fucking relax. Get to the joke. I have a never before seen photo of Red Bar Radio. I think this has been seen before. Scars Club members,
Good
definitely.
point.
Yeah, like
But he
even
called
the
it his
setup was
dad.
stupid. Yeah,
He said it was
he
his
got him
dad.
good. Got him good with that.
Your dad's a loser, and my dad could beat up your dad.
And I don't want to tell Aaron how to do comedy because, as he'll let us know, I don't know either. But maybe don't sell it so hard. If he was dry with this stuff, it would be more interesting. I've never seen like Colin Quinn or someone on Weekend Update who are just like, hey, what, are you guys ready to see this photo? It's this. You know, you're like, okay, by this time, like, we're kind of annoyed.
But even when you do that, it's funny. He sounds pissed.
Yeah, well, there's probably some rage issues. It's a good point.
Oh, look at that. Look at how happy he looks. He's a little sheepish boy staring up at his dad.
All right, the joke's over. That's the other thing,
Yep,
too.
good.
That's the other thing, too. Like, he doesn't understand that, like, the joke was the visual.
Yep.
Hollywood Minute, David Spade did this brilliantly. He would set something up, and the visual comes up, or John Oliver, and there's lots of people who do this very well. Boop, pops up, and moving on. You don't just go, can you believe what he looks like in that photo, too? You're like, yeah, moving on, man. We get it. Either it worked or it didn't.
His verbal equivalent of...
Correct. Yeah, he's just filling time and proud of himself.
And I hate to be nitpicky, but I spend a lot of time on camera and self-tapes. This guy doesn't know what his eye line is. He hasn't decided whether he's supposed to be pretending to look at the people in his room that are there, you know, his cohorts, or whether he's speaking to the audience that's at Hackamania, so his eyes are just wild and all over the place.
His dad looks pretty disappointed, but you would too if you raised a 400-pound closeted homosexual. Look.
Okay, so in Aaron's mind, gay is the worst thing you could be. But
that's why he's so pissed.
But a second,
wow.
But a second ago, his wife was a baby, but now he's a closeted homosexual. So he's just like, I don't want people to know I'm homosexual, so I'll just fuck kids instead, so that no one knows. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thinking there. It doesn't even make sense.
I only fuck gay babies.
And his dad's only a few years older than him, so it's a fucked up family life to begin with.
What's the B in LGBT?
Bacon.
You raised a 400-pound closeted homosexual. Look, the point, we're not here to make fun of people. We're not here to say mean, terrible, awful things. We're here to celebrate. After all, Hackamania is a celebration. For God's sakes, Carl Heberger is there. From who are the round of applause for Carl. I am so glad he's there. And you know, Carl, always a professional in fine form. Carl doing what he does best, watching other people be funny. You got to be fair. There's nobody better. There's no.
He almost did it the right way. So I was proud of him for a second because he said it dry, and he just stopped. But then he couldn't help himself. He had to tag it with nonsense that didn't add to the joke at all, and just repeated what he already said.
doing what he does best, watching other people be funny. You got to be fair. There's nobody better.
That was the best joke you could come up with for me. Oh, all right. I mean, I'm sure he didn't spend a lot of time on this, but
nobody better. Dick Masterson is there. I really don't have anything against Dick. I have to say we've never really
no. In fact, you like what comes out of them. Oh, I don't want to step on his setup here. Let me back that up a little bit. My bad.
I really don't have anything against Dick. I have to say we've never really we've DM'd once. We haven't really spoken much. I did want to congratulate him, Dick Masterson. A baby and a wedding. Congratulations to Dick. Dick, of course, married to 80s girl, which, if you take away the 0, is Patrick Melton's favorite age for a partner. This is ridiculous. I let Vito talk me into us. All right.
Adam, thoughts on that joke?
Nope.
So
he just buried the word. There's just so many words in there. It's they're afraid of silence, so they just got to keep talking.
Tom Myers is like, trim the fat.
80s girl, if you divide that by 10 and you add 2, that's kind of the age that Patrick's into. Like, whoa.
Does anybody have a pen? Do they have calculators at the comedy clubs?
He's a PDF file, guys. Remember?
There's one more guest of honor at this event, and that is my old friend, but I like to refer to us as tunnel buddies. Nick Rekieta is there. Round of applause for Nick Rekieta, my brother in cuckitude. You know,
see, this is a thing, and we got into this obviously over the weekend and yesterday's show, but Aaron doesn't understand how cucks work.
Mm-hmm.
He kept saying that Nick's a cuck, and now he's like brothers in cuckitude. There's a bull and there's a cuck, Aaron. And from all of the evidence, you were the cuck. He was the bull. He laid between 2 women. You laid on the edge of the bed next to one.
In the wet spot.
He's the bull. You're the cuck. But let's play along because that's going to probably set up whatever this joke is.
For Nick Rekieta, my brother in cuckitude. You know, everybody thinks that Nick and I hate each other. We don't. It's all a show. In fact, I feel so stupid. There was a gift bag that Nick asked me to send to him to Las Vegas. He asked me to ship it to Las Vegas. He didn't want to bring it with him through the airport. I thought I'd show you the gift. I'm really sorry. I don't know why he wanted these things.
Get to it.
But they've been sitting right here. The first one is a bottle of NyQuil. I'm not really sure why anyone would need.
Especially because they sell it at the casino. I mean, he takes so long to get to these gags.
Because he's so proud.
I mean, guys, I've got to tell you, I'm doing this thing, and I got a thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this thing, and wait till you see this thing I'm going to do. Do it.
This one was weird, too. I don't know. I think Nick maybe has a dirty laptop or something there because it's a multi-purpose duster. I don't know why a guy would need that. Like I said, you're on vacation. You don't really need to be on your computer. But then again, how are you going to angrily tweet at Kurt at 3 a.m? And finally, this was the weirdest one. He asked me for, and I quote, a jar of clean piss. I don't know why he would.
No. Yeah, joke's on him.
Oh, that is. I don't know how clean that would have been, but sorry, buddy. I apologize. I would have got that stuff to you. I hope it doesn't put you in a bind. I'm sure most of that stuff you can find on the strip. There is one thing I cannot send to Nick. There's one thing that I'm pretty sure if I sent it to Nick, I'd be in a whole lot of trouble. It's just once it's not ready yet. Hold on. Let me just. I have to put it on my cell phone.
I remember when this was happening live. I'm just like, oh my God, we all know what you're doing right now. I even predicted the tag on this one.
Sorry about that. That's that's a lot. Let's separate that out like that. Let's see if
Blind
we
Mike
can
could
show
see
it
this
there.
coming.
That's there you go.
We get it.
That
lines of code.
This is what Nick calls pussy lines. I don't want to bust you up. I don't.
pussy lines. It worked on your wife.
Yeah.
We're talking about having zero self-awareness. Yeah, this is what he uses to get like hot chicks to sleep with him. Yep.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Fucking idiot. You might want to stop bringing that up. Makes you look bad.
I'm not. I don't want to bust you up. I don't want to get you in any trouble. So, oh my God. He's right. I never was really very good at that. I'm really sorry, Nick. I got that from your daughter's stash. I hope that.
That one I saw coming a mile away. It's like, oh, I know what this is going to be.
I hope that doesn't.
Ooh, did you see that look he just gave the camera? Like, gotcha, bitch. He felt really good about himself after that daughter line. Look at this look. This is him going.
Yeah, your boy's done all right.
Yeah, he's staring into his soul right here. Like, yeah, man, I'm getting the last fucking laugh, aren't I?
That from your daughter's stash. I hope that.
Ooh.
I hope that doesn't.
Whoa.
I do. See, now I feel like I'm not welcome anymore.
You should feel embarrassed.
Yeah,
that's how you should
start with that.
You should feel like you should have edited this or taken another take on it or something. Watch it back and go, if I was at this event where people like to clown me, would this be the thing that I want them all watching?
I feel like nobody wants me there. You know what? I know when I've worn out my welcome. You guys are there to party. You're there to talk shit about me. It's no fun to talk shit about me when I'm sitting right here. I just want to say to the audience, all 14 of you that are there at Hackamania, I know a lot of you see me as the devil. I know a lot of you see me as the bad guy. And I know that I felt a lot of animosity, and I've poked at you and I've prodded at you as well. And it's...
Oh, God, he's taking so much credit. He thinks so highly of himself.
And so much time.
I know. It takes
and do you see what he's doing with that Sharpie? He's pretty much jerking it off.
Well,
and then poking at us and then switching hands.
He's very nervous with his hands. He always has to be doing stuff and playing with stuff, and this is no exception. He's not a comfortable boy.
No.
When he does these things, he's not comfortable with it. But I'm sure that all 14 of you got a big laugh in the packed room that was watching this.
It's not very nice, and there's enough meanness here to start a small war. So I just want to leave by saying this, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I hope every single one of you there this weekend gets AIDS mixed with cancer and dies rotting from the asshole out. Vito, thank you very much for this opportunity. Hackamania, have a great rest of your weekend. Another win for the toe.
He sucks at roast jokes.
Yeah.
And everything else.
No, he's really bad at roast jokes, though. Like, his delivery's not good. I was watching Adam's face on that last one. You saw him revving up for that joke. You saw it a mile away. I just want to say this from the bottom of my heart to all you fine folks.
Oh, I bet it's going to be nice.
Oh, it wasn't. It was the opposite of nice.
Boom. Second encore. I mean, it's AIDS hasn't been the worst thing you can wish on someone for decades. It is.
And also calling someone gay is also not what it used to be.
It's not an insult at all. Only to you personally.
Only in Minnesota. In rural Minnesota, these are like, oof, crazy shit.
I'm willing to guess even there he's like very backwards. And
that's true. So this is from his show on Monday when This Little Piggy didn't play that because This Little Piggy, that he said that to Vito to play on Biggest Problem. So This Little Piggy we put up on the internet, and that was a very fascinating show. If you haven't watched it, I recommend that you do. A lot of crazy information came out that we had on that show. But this is Aaron complaining that we didn't play that video.
So, congratulations to Patrick Melton. I noticed nobody showed the thing that Vito and I secretly worked on together.
What's that?
Vito and I secretly worked on a thing where I roasted Patrick and Nick to their faces at Hackamania. I made a video. Vito and I put it together. He played it. He DM'd me that night. He goes, it went over great. The pop was huge when you came up on screen.
Oh, Vito. You've teamed up with the wrong asshole. The guy who will never be invited to another Hackamania ever.
It was awesome.
And not because of you, not because of this thing. I actually congratulated Vito on getting you to do this because I'm actually very happy that you did. But no, Vito was a huge pain in the ass.
No video of it. I'm wondering if the minute I came up on screen, Patrick didn't pause the stream.
So this is an interesting conspiracy right here, where he thinks that because Aaron's face came up, Patrick scrambled over to the live stream software and paused. No.
It was like when Dylan went electric. We just ran over to just cut down the soundboard. Turn it off. Turn it off.
Judas.
Yeah.
And I saw Melton responding to this, and it's very funny because all Patrick does is play clips of Aaron on his show and shows everything that Aaron's doing and saying and doesn't even take it out of context, just watches it straight through, pauses it, comments. And Aaron will never play a clip of Patrick. And that's Aaron's insecurity right there. Oh, I bet he like turned it off so you couldn't even see it in the stream. No, nobody gave a shit. We're very happy to Patrick playing it again on WATP.
But it's okay because I have the video and I can release it. It's a video I made.
Oh, nice.
So I can.
Johnny.
I know. Always in the dark.
Such an idiot. Oh, nice. That'll be really good. Can't wait to see it. I bet it's really funny. You're funny. Adam, any final thoughts on what you just witnessed?
It's just remarkable that both Steel Toe and Stuttering John, we've seen now, have the power, the ability, the option to just change all of this and turn it around by making one move. All John has to do is lean into the humor and become Perry Caravello, and he can make money doing nothing like he wants.
Yep.
Aaron is clearly either he's repressed sexually somehow.
Yes.
I can't diagnose exactly what it is, but he's clearly not admitting what he is. But if he were to just say, like millions of people in the world are, I enjoy cuckery. I enjoy watching this. I enjoy feeling. A lot of people in corporate jobs like pay big money to have people like humiliate them. The Japanese culture, it's all English, aristocracy. It's a history. It's been around for a long time. All he has to do is say, I like it. Yeah, it turns me on. And then all of a sudden, there's nothing anyone can do. He's kind of won in a way, but he'll never do it. He'll never do it. So his misery
Finally
is his
gets
own.
that win.
Well, I think the reason why he'll never do it, and the rest of us look at this and we look at it from the Dabbleverse perspective and we go, dude, just fucking be you. And then you take that away from all of us. But if you remember what Aaron's actual core audience is in his local market, they would reject him. We've seen what happens at the live shows. They're yelling out F slurs nonstop. They're chanting the N word. These are people who do not tolerate that, even though the rest of the world and the U.S. is kind of like, yeah, whatever, we don't care.
And this is a guy who sits around talking about L.A. and California and how they're all living in a bubble and they can't get out of their bubble. Then what are you doing? Because the person who cuts your hair really poorly is going to judge you if they know that you're comfortable in your sexuality and don't care what other people think.
I want to thank the people who are helping us out tonight.
There we go.
On supertip.gg/WATP. You can go there right now and participate in the show. Like Anonymous says, I'll let you finish, was what Aaron told Nick.
Boom.
That's how that, that's how that show, that one started off. Bugle me this coming in. Adam, starting a podcast. You, my first guest. Let's do it. Have your questions for me ready to go.
Well played.
Well played.
Very good.
So thorough, Joe Burrow. Aaron without glasses looks psychotic. Those eyes have a mind of their own. Yeah, it was odd that he chose to come on without his glasses on. There was a different look for him.
As someone who has crazy eyes, I can attest that Aaron has crazy eyes. They don't make people comfortable. He should have his glasses on.
No, he's a radio guy. Anonymous 501. You think someone already showed the good folks at Stoney's Bar and Grill this video? That logo on the bottom right corner would disappear quickly.
Good point.
I don't know. Who knows what those people think? Oh, you said he married a baby? I'm sure they're fine people.
That was a good Cletus.
Rumpled Trenchcoat, a couple podcasts. Adam, what do you think about Columbo? I have 52 relatives, so we'll get more watches afterwards.
I love that Peter Falk, Johnny Cash episode where he guested on that one.
Someone's going to be on Rumpled Trenchcoat.
Should I do it? Is it of interest?
Do it.
All right.
You're doing all the shows, Adam.
All right. Reach out, Trenchcoat.
Trenchcoat is a big supporter of the Dabbleverse and this show, WTP. We appreciate him.
I've been hearing that name since the beginning. Legend.
Yep. Stewie felt $2. Toe is a real life job from Arrested Development.
Job, yeah.
Job, yes.
It's true.
Rocco or B, Aaron could have used Shauna Ray's photo for the wife joke.
Oh, that would have been
This just shows he can't even do a PDF joke. Well, yes.
That would have
Shauna
actually
Ray's
been funny.
Perfect example. Yeah, there you go. There's an actual
And there'd be
adult.
no random victim
Looks
like
like a
whatever
child.
fucking child that was.
Yep. Beef Drippins. Eddie Munster admitted to lapping up goo. Real cock. Eddie Munster.
I like it.
I see. Now I can't unsee that.
Yeah, right.
Ladies Man on Mars. Aaron's not funny. He is 100% unfunny. Steve Morton. Jeff Ross, look out. Yeah, no shit. Ladies Man on Mars. Aaron also has a tumbler shaped like a used condom. That's a funny idea. Beef Drippins. Amazing watching Toe make it so worse.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about how he had to be talked into doing that. Like Vito really pushed him to do that. He should have just trusted his instincts.
Yeah. He's just like John. He wants to be wooed.
Right. Queefer haircutting person Stutterland. Star is secretly penis wrinkle or Cardiff. Hashtag TWO.
Tuki World Order. TWO.
Rumple Trenchcoat again says it took Melton 5 minutes to hit play for the wrong track 3/5 of the time. Even if he wanted to turn off the stream when Aaron showed up, he couldn't. I wasn't going to bring this up, but I think WATP was the only show that didn't have technical issues. Maybe the creep off went off all right. I think Vinny and I were able to run our shows. But boy, the Tukey struggle. Poor Tukey.
Whoa.
Poor Tukey. He's wearing a mask. He's got a puppet on one hand. I mean, he's really handicapping himself.
I gave him 4 outs right there on stage. I gave him 4 ways to end it.
TK Buffalo, $2. Just chipping in. Go Bills, go Amherst. Great show. Yeah, the Amherst are playing right now. And I could have gone to the game, but I said, no, I want to be here with you fine folks because we have so much to discuss with my buddy Opie.
Ba, 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 ba.
Hopefully by now you've heard or seen our episode from Las Vegas. We had an Opie segment. We started off with Opie pranking some Asian people in Central Park who were taking photos. And, well, why don't I start with that? Let's play this brilliant prank that Opie had.
Cheese! 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 Enjoy your day, all right? Enjoy. Bye.
Jesus. So Opie's all proud of himself. He saw tourists taking photos and yelled cheese at them. So you got to love this super chat that came in on his recent live stream.
That cheese gag made me chuckle. Ope. Way to stick it to them. Jesus, goody two shoes. Yeah, if you haven't checked out my live streams for the streets of New York in a while, please do.
So it says, way to stick it to them Asians. This goody two shoes free chat that he put up. And Opie's all proud of himself. He's like, yeah, I really did stick it to them. Opie, why would you think that was a good bit? Like the guy's making fun of you. You don't know that? You thought that yelling cheese at tourists was funny?
You think those Asians had it coming?
They had it coming, yeah. Fuck those idiots. That's what they get.
Why don't you lay off the Asians?
All right. Don't tell me what to do, Wiggum. All right. So this goes on. Opie's talking about these live streams. He's like promoting it hard. It's like, guys, if you're not watching these live streams, they're getting really good.
You're missing out.
Yeah, where he's walking and talking around New York.
You know, I finally said after all these years, hey, the quality of my video stinks. So I'm taking a second camera. So I'm I look like a dork when I'm walking around because I got my cell phone for the live stream. Then I got a separate camera. I'm holding both of them at the same time. And then after the live stream's over, I come home, I download the really, really good video, and then I replace the kind of just okay video from the actual live stream.
This is crazy. This is psychotic. I had no idea this was going on. Opie is shooting everything like Tommy Wiseau in The Room did this also. He's shooting everything with 2 different cameras. Same perspective, same video, 2 different cameras. So that he can do the live stream and then go home and replace that live stream with a slightly higher quality video for people who didn't watch it live but are going to watch it later. He thinks these live streams are so important that he's going to make sure to redo them after the fact to get them as pristine as possible.
He doesn't have anything to do all day.
He's got nothing going on. Could you imagine? This is what he's spending his time with. And he's like, I look like a dork. Even without the extra camera. Opie, it's not a great look what you're doing. There's a reason why the camera never turns back.
If I ran into anybody I knew while I was attacking Asians, screaming cheese, and like you run into an ex, and then you try and explain to them how well you're doing, that would be a hard sell.
Oh, Adam, I thought that was you. What are you doing?
Killing it, winning.
Well, this doesn't end here. Now he's going to explain this bit that he did.
And I'm getting some good videos out of it. And one was the cheese gag. Bunch of Asians taking a picture of the skyline of Manhattan. They're on a bridge. There's a lagoon, and in the background, there's a whole bunch of buildings. And I just went up to them and went cheese, cheese, cheese to all the Asians. And it turned out okay, I thought.
Fascinating. Not only did he not realize that Goody Two-Shoes is clowning him, but he goes on to explain the bit.
The process.
Yes. A little behind the scenes of the thought process and how that all worked and then why it was so good, why it worked. This is next level.
This is insane.
For the Opster, this is next level. Like, he's out of it. And I couldn't believe when I went to his YouTube page, the Opie Unleashed NYC, because I pulled that from his live stream. We showed that at Hackamania in Las Vegas. It's because I was watching his live stream and pulling clips. I had no idea he was pulling the same clips that I was. Look at this. Say Cheese has 66 views from 6 days ago, 18 seconds long. This is on his channel. He uploaded that video and made it higher quality too. He put the time into a video that's got 66 views. But wait, there's more. 30 seconds almost had it. Rare empty Central Bridge moment interrupted. Oh, God. Tourist won't move. My epic fail for perfect row bridge shot. These are all clips that I pulled to make fun of Opie. He's putting them on his channel on purpose.
Yeah.
You guys are both in stunned disbelief, I see.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe when I saw it. Because the fact that he was referencing this cheese thing, I'm like, wait a second. He didn't put that out as a single video, did he? So I had to go look.
It's offensive to Asians and cheese.
And to bridges and to, like, if
Bows.
somebody invited you to see their vacation videos, you'd be like, we can't watch this. What are you doing? Why are we watching this? What's the joke? Who is it on? What's the joke?
Actually,
he doesn't know.
Adam's response to watching the Bow Bridge live was fantastic. You were outraged that he would ruin someone else's day, thinking that they're ruining his.
Yeah, he pushed somebody out of the way and went, let me get this shot. Or he was so upset somebody was getting the shot before him.
He was harassing them, just yelling at them, pacing back and forth on this bridge. Person's facing the other way, and Opie's just harassing them each way, back and forth.
The person's taking a video just like he's doing.
Yeah. Well, not like he's doing. Like, probably like one that someone might enjoy one
in
day.
peace.
Yes.
When a 15-year-old kid trying to shoot an Instagram thing does that, you correct them. Whether they're your kid or not, you're like, buddy, get the fuck out of the way there first.
Right.
What is he doing?
Raising terrible children.
And I promise you,
not setting a good example.
Yeah. And I said it before, I'm almost positive all of those Asians speak perfect English and they were just dumbing it down for him.
Yeah.
That's what they do when you're approached by a wild, blonde, white behemoth, coming at you with a camera. You just pretend you don't know what's happening. And
They actually looked like they actually thought it looked like they thought he was the slow. And they're like, yeah, cheese, man. Right,
exactly.
cheese. Yep.
Just say what he wants till he goes away.
Give him some cheese.
Give him some cheese. He wants cheese. Yeah. He looks hungry.
All right, so the question comes up because Opie announced he's got this new podcast deal. But, the paperwork hasn't been signed yet. We're still working on the terms, he said. He wanted to make sure it wasn't an exclusive deal. He wants to make sure he can put his podcast everywhere still. So is there an update on that?
What happened to the podcast deal? It's almost signed, sealed, delivered, but people are making a big deal about it. I didn't say it was a big deal. I'm just moving my podcast from one place to the other, with a good chance of getting more marketing and a good chance of getting more people listening to my rubbish. So I will be talking about that. So it's like I said, it's not a huge deal.
Who's making a big deal about it? I mean, I am, because we're making fun of you, but
the trolls.
Yeah, like he's like, guys, are you making too much of a deal about this? Like, no, you brought it up, and then Vincent Scaramuzzo just wants to know if there's an update on it.
You took the time to plug it.
Right, you were pretty excited about it, if I remember. Talked about it multiple
defensive.
times. He's
Every
so defensive.
question.
Guys, don't make a big deal about this. We know it's not a big deal. There's no way you would get signed to a big podcast deal. We know that. You're not Call Her Daddy. You're not Smartless. No one thinks you're going to have this huge podcast deal we're going to read about in the trades.
It's so funny when somebody asks him a real question like, hey, what's up with that new house you were buying? He's like, go fuck yourself. How dare you come at me like that? And when someone is clearly mocking him, like, great job with those Asians, he's like, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, this is how I did it.
You're right.
Good looking out.
You're right. He's worse than stupid. So he gets this question about this podcast deal and immediately has to turn it on Anthony.
Like I said, it's not a huge deal. It's not like doing weekends on an AM station in New York City. I mean, that's a big deal. By the way, you would think, with Anthony going back to radio after all these years, there'd be a little buzz. There's no buzz. I live in New York City. There's no buzz on Anthony doing weekends on ABC.
Wow.
That could very well be true, but how the fuck would he know? He talks to 5 guys in a basement of a bar down the street from him, and that's about it. Other than that, he just walks around harassing people.
You don't think Opie's up in the conservative radio chat forums? Just
Nope.
duking it out and trying to gauge the reaction?
I highly doubt it. I love this thing where he goes, guys, my podcast deal's not a big deal. It's not as big a deal as like this AM weekend station thing. Trying to make fun of it, but it literally is not. Like whatever Opie's going to make from this, whatever he's signing, he won't make nearly as much money as Anthony's making. It won't make nearly as much news. Just the idea that Anthony's been canceled off of broadcast medium is back on AM radio is a huge deal. And then he immediately syndicated and added a 3rd hour. You can't take this away from him. You can say whatever you want. He's having great guests on the show. A lot of the comedians used to be on Opie and Anthony are showing up on Anthony's show now. And for Opie's head to go there immediately.
Yeah.
Hey, and that's a buddy, the Vincent guy. I see him in there. Usually the Facebook squad. If you see someone on Facebook, that's a friendly viewer of the show.
For every time that Opie brings up Anthony, there's got to be 10 times that he's not. He's just absolutely living rent-free in his head.
Yes. And this actually continues.
There's no buzz on Anthony doing weekends on ABC. But what about you? We're not talking about me right now. You understand? I hope you understand.
No. We were literally talking about you just now. You're the one who segued it off of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he became that troll in his head, that hater in his head. What about you? What are you doing, Opie? That's so great. We're not talking about that. No, we are. We asked you about your podcast deal. What's going on with that?
That is a frightening reveal.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He's backwards about everything. His catchphrase was, I don't want to talk about Anthony. So now we're talking about Opie, and he's like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Anthony.
We're talking about Anthony.
Okay. I guess we're always wrong.
It's even worse than that. Later on in the same stream.
Thoughts on recruiting pest for Zen. I have no thoughts. The only thoughts I have on Anthony is when you bring up the thoughts. That's the only time I have thoughts on Anthony is when you bring up stuff.
That's a bold-faced lie. You just brought it up out of nowhere earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Is that crazy? I mean, you guys both picked up on the fact that he never talks about Anthony. I don't even think about Anthony. And then someone goes, hey, makes a joke about Ant Hill or whatever. I don't think about Anthony until you guys bring it up.
Leave it alone.
It's like, holy shit, Opie. It's this, and we're watching the spiral.
Yeah.
Which is depressing, but predictable. His mom suffered with mental health. He talked about it all the time. He is a mental patient at this point.
Is it just me, or is he getting lower and lower in the frame with each episode? Like, he has to notice that everyone who does a podcast presents themselves. It's all you have to offer. He knows he's the thing of least value in this shot right now. And he's in the dark.
Adam, I would tell you it's because he wants to showcase the scenery, but he does the same thing in the basement of Gebhardt's. There's nothing to see behind him there, unless you want to look at some jersey that's on the wall and a beer sign. But you're right. Like he that's how he feels about himself.
Not to break the illusion, but when you sent me a picture of the paneled wall background that I had requested, it had a tiny little ring light reflection in one of the pictures, and I asked you to retake it. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Let me resend that. And you did. This is his choice, is to be in the dark while there's a white ring behind him blocking this beautiful view.
And it's annoying as hell because I have to make the thumbnails for these, and I try to brighten them up, but it's impossible. There's nothing you can do. Like Photoshop can't do this. There's no light to be had.
Something so messed up about hiding on camera, like choosing to be on camera and then hiding during it. It's very weird.
Let's talk about the purple mouth, because on Weird Medicine, this was a question that was asked of Dr. Steve on the final Weird Medicine of Hackamania. And Dr. Steve said, I know what the answer is. So basically, it's a lighting issue. The idea that the single ring light is coming in directly and he's got all of this backlit is what's causing that issue. And Dr. Steve actually showed a diagram because Dr. Steve had every job in the world. He used to do lighting for some TV show or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
So he's like, it's all about 3-point lighting. And he goes, I sent him the lights that he needs. And I showed him, I showed the diagram of how you set it up so that you don't have these shadows and stuff. And he goes, and Opie set it up at Gebhardt's, but he won't do it in his own house. He refuses to set up the proper lighting so he doesn't look like what he looks like here.
There's no helping some people.
I know. Not since Stuttering John sent Kate Meany a ring light has someone been so generous with lighting suggestions. Now, I've been talking a lot about how Opie is making the turn to official lolcow status, as if he hasn't already. But this is a big step right here. This one is where you could tell that, okay, we are officially on that path and there's no coming back from it.
So the question, oh my God, you guys are babbling, huh? The question is, do you still read super chats or are they all trolls now? Yeah, if someone's going to give me money to troll me, I don't feel like reading that. It's not worth it. You can make some decent money if you read the super chats from trolls, but I don't feel like going down that road. So, but if you're cool and you give me a super chat, I'll give you a lot of attention on the big screen. Okay.
He is officially no longer reading super chats that make fun of him. He has announced it. You will be blocked and he will not read your super chat. It's not worth it to him. Please be nice. Guys, give me money and just be nice when you give me money.
Maybe
please.
That's why he's pretending to not know what a diss is. So he can take the money for those mean ones and claim he just had no idea.
Yeah, I think you're on.
And that would make sense, except for that Goody Two Shoes one about the Asians was not a super chat. It was a free chat that he put up on the screen.
You're right.
And he didn't know that he was making fun of him.
Yeah. He definitely did not. It's like the cheese gag was great. Way to stick it to those Asians.
They had it
How do
coming.
you not know it's a joke? But what's great about Opie is that you can see on the screen right now, he's got a free chat up from Quinn DQ. And this is talking about that new statue, the black woman that everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
And it says, the statue can only be viewed for 4 hours a day. It won't work a full shift. And Opie loves to put stuff like that up on his screen.
That the statue can only be viewed for 4 hours a day. It won't work a full shift. I get it.
Whoa.
Wrong show. Wrong show.
So I'm not pearl clutching. I personally don't care about this. It's a joke and whatever. Don't give a shit. But for Opie to constantly be talking about how Anthony's a racist and what a piece of shit, and everyone who likes Anthony has to be a racist, just wants to hear him yell the N-word. And then he puts shit like that up on the screen for no reason and reads it. It's like, well, obviously, you still want to be the shock jock guy who digs into this kind of stuff. Just fucking do it then.
Yeah. Grow a pair.
Grow a pair. Yeah, stop being so offended by everything that your former partner does. Here's a question about going on the Howard Stern show. Opie has one of these little fantasy moments that a lot of these lol cows do.
Ross Dog's Broken Spirit giving me $5. If Fafa Fui reached out for a Stern interview, would you go on? Would you go along with his current softball style, or would there be fireworks? Oh, my God. First of all, it's one of these questions that is stupid. No offense, Ross Dogs, because I love you. You give me content. That's why I love you. Sometimes it's a little edgy. Sometimes but anyone that gives me content, I love. It's a stupid question because it's never going to happen. But I would absolutely accept an interview to be on Howard Stern, and I would just go in. Why would I do softball crap? No, I would go all in.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you, Opie? So at least there was that quick realization that's not going to happen, obviously. Now, I don't know if it's because of their history in Opie's mind or because he doesn't have the celebrity status to go on the Howard Stern show. I don't know why he thinks.
Oh, no, he thinks
wouldn't
it's
be
because he humiliated Howard by showing that he has security, and they locked down the building because of the numerous incredible, not just assassination attempts, but death threats that guy gets. Maybe it's a little paranoid, fine. But I promise you, Opie, that's not why you're not going to be on the Howard Stern show. But just in case there was ever just a little bit of interest the way there is in Anthony, you had to answer that question that way to just guarantee, solidify it's never going to happen.
Well, he goes on, he elaborates on what he would do on Howard's show.
And I would apologize for something. And then he would be like, you apologizing about this? It's bringing it up again. Oh, my God. What are you doing? But I would apologize for something, 100%. I've had a few apologies to people from my past. Yes, I have. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry you felt that way. I had no idea. It was a pressure cooker, the Opie and Anthony show, and I probably should have been more aware that what was going on was bothering you. So I hope you accept my apology.
Very weird shit going on right there. First off, so he would apologize to Howard. I have a theory on that, but you notice how as he's talking about apologies to people, I'm sorry you felt that way. I didn't realize you felt that way. I had an obligation to say crazy shit on my radio show. It wasn't my fault. Like even these fake apologies are not apologies.
It's not an apology.
It's not at all.
It's an observation.
Sorry you felt that way. Not an
Just
apology.
in case you mistake it for being sincere, he's got to talk to you in that sing-song, condescending, childlike voice that it's so irritating.
He's such a cunt. My theory on this is they used to go hard at Howard's daughter. I would guess now that he has kids, that's probably what he feels shitty about doing. And that's what he probably feels like he owes Howard an apology for. And
there's also, John has this too, the arrogance. He believes like Howard's aware of this and like thinking about it. And then if Opie were to somehow come in, that would be on his mind. And he'd be like he doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't know who you are. He has moved on. You should too.
But it might be the filming of the Sirius XM stuff. Who knows? It's possible. I have one more video clip of Opie because he put this one out. This is him on the streets of Manhattan. And the name of this video, again, I didn't make this. Opie made it. It's called The Pope is a White Sox Fan. Hilarious rant on baseball and religion.
Edgy stuff.
Get ready. This is going to be a hilarious rant on baseball and religion. Aaron Imholte, I hope you're taking notes here on how to be funny.
What do you think about the Pope being a White Sox fan, though? I don't think, the Pope should be a White Sox fan. I don't know. They found some old footage when the White Sox was in the World Series and the Pope.
What's interesting about this is I thought he was talking to the guy next to him.
I did too.
I thought for sure he was like interviewing someone.
Yeah.
He's just talking to himself.
Oh.
Right?
Staring at his phone on a busy corner of Manhattan. Someone pointed out when we were talking about how he was acting out in Central Park and how people were ignoring him because they're so used to homeless and schizophrenics. Someone's like, Carl, I'm from New York. And you're right. Like, we've been trained to ignore those people because every now and again they need attention and they'll do anything to get someone to make eye contact with them or just acknowledge that they're there.
That's the rule. You can't make eye contact.
Because every person just walks by and just stares ahead. And so every now and again they'll just act out. And that's what Opie does on a daily basis.
The Pope Leo was at one of the games. And then the stupid Cubs, they're like, no, he's actually a Cubs fan. And then the Pope's brother did all sorts of interviews and said, no, my brother's a White Sox fan and he's now the Pope. There's a lot of hocus pocus and magic with religion, but if the Pope is an old White Sox fan, right? And he's got the direct connection to God, our Lord and Savior, shouldn't the White Sox win the World Series every single year until the Pope dies? Then I'd be a believer. Is that a lie?
All right, so that's going to wrap up the hilarious rant. Just want to let you guys know in case you were waiting for a tag or something like that.
Okay.
But get it? Because, like, the Pope is a fan of a team, so they should win because, like, God would want to do a favor for the God.
That guy dressed in the gorilla suit that works in Times Square made more money that day than Opie did.
Yep.
Oh, by far.
Mm-hmm.
Is that alive? Is that one alive? Oh, it is alive! Oh my God! All right, peace. Oh my God, it's alive! It's alive. What happened?
Can't film
What
them without
happened?
paying
I'm
them.
good. You good? I'm good. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, the guy even gave him the yeah. Give me a few bucks here, asshole. Opie shoving his phone into the guy's chest.
He likes anyone who gives him content. He just won't pay them.
Producer Chris, you're starting to get so annoyed with Opie. Like, I'm watching Chris no longer having fun with these segments.
That's my job.
Yeah, no, I can't have both of you staring at me like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Someone's got to have fun with it.
Well, it's a lot after Aaron. Aaron pisses me off.
Oh, I know. Sorry, guys. This has been a marathon today, but I had to get those Opster clips, and
I refuse to believe.
Glad I did.
Refuse to believe that he has any relationship with his wife and his family right now, because there's just no way you can go do that all day and then come home and have the wife say, "What'd you do today?" And then him tell her that or show her that. And she's like, "Good job, honey."
Well, people lie to their spouses all the time. Oh, I was sleeping with hookers.
That would
I
be
was
better.
Storing hard drugs.
That would be
was at
more
the pornography store.
That's curable. This stuff,
I was
don't
tripping
know.
children on skateboards.
You can't lie about it. He's posting it online. They can see it.
I know. No one sees it unless they're watching WATP. They don't know
More people
about
watch the Skinny Chad episode, Opie.
this. Yes.
Wow.
I crunched the numbers.
All right, I want to hit some more chats. Thank you guys so much for being here. Wow. We are 3 hours, 12 minutes into the stream. I feel like Patrick Melton, it's too long. Way too much.
I really stuck it to them, huh? Pearl Harbor has been avenged.
Yes, you did, Opie. Good job. Tim Bollinger, who we hung out with this weekend.
Yeah.
I have wasted about $10 super chatting Opie on a video that I thought was live and wasn't. He makes his channel so confusing.
I've done that before. I've chatted
Yeah.
into him and realized I was talking to nobody. Yeah.
It's happened on this channel too. I always feel bad when that happens. Tim, great to hang with you, buddy. Good to see you at Hackamania. Derek from Canoga Park, $5. The statue in Times Square is of the woman who attacked Cumia in 2014. Crazy New York spent money on that. I know, but
Worth it. It was worth it.
they wanted to counter this ABC deal. We've got to give both sides a voice on this one. Rumple Trenchcoat says, Opie did a behind the joke for yelling cheese at tourists.
Yep.
You literally did. We just watched it.
Blind Mike is doing a 6-hour expose, breaking it down.
The Blattcast, Christian Blatt. Reminder to tune into my full interview with Nick Greystone tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on the Blattcast YouTube channel. I will warn everyone that in order to get this interview, Christian does spend a lot of time talking to Nick about Nick's band and about music and stuff like that, and then they get into the Stuttering John stuff. But I think he had him on for a good 30 minutes talking Stuttering John.
Nice.
So tune in for that. Name taken. $10 says, Opie has someone moderating his live chats. Every one of my comments about his blue mouth would get me timed out for 5 minutes. During the time he was focused talking to Ron and not touching his keyboard.
Interesting.
Oh, okay. So he's got someone when he's on, at Gebhard's. Get farts. We're gonna get that drop on the board. Annie was here, but unfortunately we've gone so long. She just had to take off. I wanted to talk to her about winning OJ's gas money. Wanted to ask her what she did with that $100 she won on Tukey Soup.
We'll do it Saturday.
Well, she's not on a Saturday, but we'll talk to her soon.
All right.
We'll figure it out one of these days.
Wednesday crew unite.
That's right. You want to hit some voicemails with us, Adam, and get out of here?
Love to.
Let's figure out what the folks want to talk to us about. There's no game. Cardiff was not able to put together a game today. I know it's very disappointing. Like I said, programming note, 3 p.m. on Saturday. If you're on our YouTube channel, if you're a member, or if you're on Supercast or Patreon, you get the link to watch us live on Saturdays. 3 p.m., Pat Oates will be on the show. And one of these, I'm going to bring the teaser back as a segment on the show. I swear I'm going to.
Cardiff had a great appearance on Ray DeVito's show last night, I think.
Really?
It's phenomenal. Yeah, I encourage everyone to go check out the Bladcast tonight and to look at that Ray DeVito. It's on Ray's channel. It's very funny.
What are the highlights? What was the angle?
I don't want to spoil anything. Cardiff's just very real with him. He's very they can't get past just the invite, how Ray invited him onto the show and what went down, and then how he kept him waiting because he was talking to his roommates. It's very interesting.
I gotta see that.
Fantastic. All right.
Hey, Carl. Kenny from Canada here. Recently you were talking about maybe Adam Busch, jumping from all these podcasts, going on all these different ones. But, yeah, your last episode, you were saying, just kind of wondering who's worse. Oh, I'm Carl. I'm on the Drew Lane show. Oh, I'm flying to Dallas to be on this guy's show. And then the next day I'm going to be on another one. Yeah, just kind of wondering who's worse, you or Adam Busch. Anyway, love you. Love the show. Bye.
I don't know if worse is the word I would use, but I'm going on with Dave Landau, Alex Stein, and Drew Lane. And who are you appearing with, Adam?
I'm setting up something very special with Mr. Tom Myers.
That actually,
if you must
that
know.
actually rules.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. He has agreed to talk to me, and I'm looking forward to it and sharing it.
Yay. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Is Hughesy's episode out yet? You did Hughesy's show.
We talked yesterday morning. It was really fun, actually. It was really interesting.
Cool.
Hughesy's very funny. He's very funny.
Was Echo Pineapple on that too?
Yes.
Yeah, Hughesy. I watched a lot of that. Hughesy was in rare form.
He was. It was really great. And Tom was great. It's very interesting.
All right, now we know you're lying. You had to ruin your plug.
I said
you said Tom was great. You said Tom was great.
It was. It was great. He was very interesting. There's a delineation there.
Understood. Okay.
Hey, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with the LSD No-No documentary.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually not talking about the documentary. There's about a 5-minute animated version of it on YouTube. The animation is absolutely hysterical, and of course, it's a historical story to begin with. Greatest sports achievement in all of history. But, like I said, the animation is hysterical. And when I listened to that interview with John, all I could think of was that guy needs to animate John's telling of the talent show. It would be fucking hysterical. Check that video out. You'll enjoy it. The other thing is this. Opie. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the David Lynch version of Dune. Yeah. Opie is transforming into a Mentat. Check it out. You'll agree with me. Love the show. See ya.
Yeah, that would be great to animate what I'm showing the animation here on the screen. That'd be great to animate.
It's very cool.
What John described as his Battle of the Bands performance.
Yes. Do it.
I would love to see that.
Kind of like a Drunk History where like you hear him describing it.
Yeah.
And then you see, and when he changes things, it changes, and it goes along.
The HBO Ricky Gervais show, the animation of that was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Pilkington.
Go Bills. It's so easy to tell that John's lying. It struck me just through the use of one phrase, another John-ism, completely new, made-up bullshit. Butcher blood. There's no such thing as butcher blood other than the blood that is inside of a butcher, which obviously only a murderer would be interested in obtaining.
Right.
Because the blood's taken care of at the slaughterhouse and nobody wants that shit. And even if you did get that shit, why would you ever want to throw that around indoors? There's no venue on earth that would ever sanction that. Throwing it onto people
True.
constitutes an obvious health risk. You would never do that. That's fucking retarded, you fucking idiot. And then also, what you might use is like, red dyed something inert, but you wouldn't even do that in high school because people don't want shit on them, and that's another fucking obvious lie as well. And then to cap it all, you just arrive at the fact that John's never demonstrated any notable skill, talent, or ability with music in particular, but definitely nothing else either, really. And actually, from his high school report card, music was, in fact, his weakest subject. Vote for Carl at thecreepoff.com.
Vote for Carl at thecreepoff.com. Thank you very much. And yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even question that. Yeah, I bought a bunch of pig's blood from the butcher.
Oh,
where do they sell that?
It's the first thing I picked up on. Is like, that's way too much effort, first of all.
Right, but also...
He wouldn't even mix up stage blood.
What do you do with this pig's blood,
Yeah.
boy? Humiliating some classmates? You know it.
It does not exist.
So does John think in movies?
Yes.
That's real blood? And is that what he thinks is happening? Does he not know there's another option? It doesn't have to be actual blood?
That's why it was so ridiculous Nick didn't ask a single follow-up question about that.
Well, he explained why. He's just like, let them go.
Yeah, these rock and rollers, they like to fib. All right, if you say so. This is a message for Adam.
Hey, this message is for the Wednesday show, and it's specifically for Adam Busch. Hey, Adam, you know who's going to make a Holocaust joke? Anybody who fucking wants to. That's who. Thank you.
Yeah, they just have to be good.
I think
Anybody
he's missing
can.
The point. Yeah, he's missing the point about
but it has to
quads
be
and
a good one.
aptitude. Yes,
anybody
right.
can, and anybody is open to, and
right.
I love it, but it's got to be good. It can't be the lowest hanging fruit available while you're trying to also have credibility while talking about these serious issues. You can't have both.
If there's one thing the Bush family is known for, it's Holocaust jokes. I mean,
We
I think
love
that's
it.
well established.
Brings us together, but they have to be good. I'm sorry.
Boner guy, I think, is jealous of cow photographer based on this call.
Go Bills. No, cow photographer, don't you apologise for missing out on some pun. That's some autistic virgin shit right there. You're busy, my man. You're busy laying pipe like a foot at a time, yeah? And then when you're done with that, you're all up in them guts, just sorting shit out. It barely leaves any time for your leisure activity, which we all know is just slinging dick. You're cool, man. Why don't you not come into acting school next week and give us other poor chumps a go at those hot ladies for a change, yeah? I bet you barely even have time to vote for Carl at thecreepoff.com every week, but you do. I know you do, because you're cool, man.
That sounded like jealousy to me.
It's always good to hear from Husey.
Hey, Carl, can we do karaoke at the Boston show? Because I would like to sing that new Kanye song that just came out.
Oh.
It's number one hit tune.
Yeah, I don't know how many karaoke DJs will have that ready to spin, but maybe. Give it a try.
Guys, what the hell is this Karmic X? I'm fucking dying right now. Holy shit, I've never looked at Patrick Melton and thought, he's got a face for fucking. And, yeah, Patrick, put your ass where it belongs. Right behind me. Holy shit, that's fucking gold. Oh my god, I can't wait to hear you to say what he says next here. Oh my god, I'm going back in. All right.
Yeah, Karmic X is a character. It was brought up, Hackamania, Aaron thought it was going to be all about him. More people were talking about Karmic at Hackamania than Aaron Imholte.
Yeah, and Chad. Chad was a big topic.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, Chad and Karmic were the talk of the event.
Now that Karmic is sober, is he still doing the "if you will"?
No, he wasn't doing all that
digress.
stuff. I watched the stream a couple times this week, and he wasn't doing any of his catchphrases or anything.
Oh, but
I
printed up
know.
all these fucking T-shirts for nothing.
Well, let's get it back on the sauce. Come on, Adam. Let's go out, drink it with him one night, get him hooked again.
I'm open to that.
All right,
I like enabling.
Gary in San Diego.
Hey, Carl. Well, we know John canceled his Stress Factory gig.
By the way, anytime we met anyone from San Diego, because one of the questions I ask when I meet people, I'm like, oh, where'd you come in from? Anytime anyone's at San Diego, oh, do you know Gary?
Yeah. And it goes over like a lead balloon.
Yeah, no one knows what the fuck we're talking about, of course.
due to some sort of industrial emergency.
Industry.
Now, what are the chances he's going to cancel his off the hook June gig due to another industrial emergency?
No, industry.
Is John just getting cold feet? He doesn't want to do his comedy
From
gigs
working at the
anymore?
factory.
So he comes up with phony excuses? What do you think? Rock and rolla.
Industry obligation, not industrial emergency. I believe. I can be wrong. We talked to Vegas Beer Sales Jerry quite a bit when we were out in Vegas, and he says that John's booking tons of gigs, and that's his life now. He's a touring comic.
Vegas is a good guy.
Yes, Vegas is a good guy. I had
a great time with him.
Number of conversations with him.
Hey, Kyle, I love you, love the show. This is Dorkles the Clown calling. I wanted to disagree about the worst episode of WATP being the one with the guy that went over that fat chef with the stroke.
Right.
It has to be. I'm working my way through the series right now. It's got to be the episode where you have Zumock on. He is so fucking insufferable, and he just is walking around with a hate boner the entire time for Chrissy May or whoever this third string Cleveland DJ is. Hindsight being 50-50, you really got to go back and listen to the episode. Bye.
Oh, no, thank you. Yeah, the episode where Chad appeared on WATP is a tough listen.
Yeah.
It starts off all right, but he went way too hard at the main subject and then just trailed off. We just lost him. Just couldn't bring him back.
It was just kind of a misread. I remember it. You know, it was like one of those political shows and someone's like, I know what I'm going to do. And it was just not the right line of attack for that moment.
But I'll never forget because we used to be over in that part of the basement. That was where our studio was set up. It was just you and me, and I was looking across the table. I was just like, because we weren't video back then. So I'm just looking at producer Chris like, oh, what do we do? I don't know what to do. All right, well, Chad, thanks for hopping on, buddy. Fuck. Amanda Lynn Nappy calling it.
Hey, Carl. It's Amanda Lynn Nappy. Hey, I was just calling about your observation of Stuttering John's arms still being long, even though he's getting smaller, losing weight.
No.
That's a good observation.
It's not losing weight.
One time I lost so much weight that I couldn't even scratch my head.
No, shrinking.
What are you, an idiot? Your arms don't get shorter as you lose weight.
I know that.
Come on, Carl. What's the matter with you? Hey, have Jenny call me back.
All right. Oh, open your fucking ears, asshole. I didn't say he's losing weight and his arms are longer now. It's fucking people.
Oh, when you say that you shit your pants on acid, and then you say you don't want to talk about it, there's nothing more to talk about. That's the story. That's the beginning and end of the story. You took acid, shit your pants. Tell producer Chris to call me back.
Well, then I changed my pants while I was still tripping, but...
Yeah, there's still a couple questions. I don't know if that's necessarily the end of the story. I would like to know what happened actually from that point on.
Oh, my God. I was peeing in the woods. And it was just one of those things where I lost control. And I got back in the car and I went, I'm going to go home.
Wait,
it was fun when it was warm, but...
Is that what happened? And you just went home and...
I was with a buddy of mine and I was driving. And I go, hey, I got to run home quick. And I went inside and I changed and I came back out and I went, yeah, I just shit my pants. I had to change.
So you were driving while on acid, shitting your pants.
With shit my pants, yeah.
All right.
Very wet shit, too. Not like a log.
That John's a loser, isn't he?
I was a teenager. You guys don't shit your pants out of acid while you're teenagers? Oh.
Maybe once.
Yes!
And I wasn't even on acid, so I don't know what my excuse was.
All right, here's the last one.
Oh, you guys really crossed the line this time with Steel Toe. Oh, I think Steel Toe's going to go to Greenland this time.
The pearl clutching on Reddit over like the Aaron tapes or whatever, the pictures, it's ridiculous. So many, like, Aaron's been exposed as an absent father, a wife beater, a criminal that sends like revenge porn, but suddenly him being exposed as a cum-eating cuckold is too much. Fuck this guy. My only problem with Hackamania is that Melton was too fat for the stream to work. So I'm hoping we get that fixed for next year. Anyway, love the show.
Well, yes, some people, I guess, weren't surprised by what we learned at Hackamania, but most of us were, even though we know that Aaron is a piece of shit. But it's still wild, the information that came out. Adam, you're a trooper, buddy. You've been podcasting all week, nonstop. We appreciate you, buddy.
I am doing my best not to become Caleb that we just watched. I'm doing my best
no, you're killing it.
I'm trying my best.
Keeping your
and
composure.
Thank you to everyone who's been sending me submissions. I will get to all of them, I promise. It's just taking a little bit of time.
Awesome.
I gotta go. Bye. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Okay, bye. Yes. Thank you for tuning in. Bye. Bye.
Okay, folks.
Guess what?
This
The episode's over.
This is it. It's over. Okay? Goodbye. Goodbye. Hey, bye. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Go screw.